Council members, if you can please come to the dais. Yeah, we're ready. Ming, are we ready? Okay. Huh? Absolutely, and I'm gonna do the prayer from here.
You can do prayer from there?
From here.
All right, yeah.
And he's gonna do the flag salute.
I told you to do that.
Okay.
You know, you do it.
No, go ahead, go ahead. Sound
You do
good.
it, no.
I know. All right, so good evening, council members. Good evening to the audience, Madam BA, Corporation Counsel, CFO, Madam Clerk, to everyone here today, to Patterson. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call for Municipal Council regular meeting of May 24, 2022 at 7 p.m. Councilman Abdelaziz, Councilwoman Khan, Councilman Jackson, Councilman Khalid.
I'm here.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez.
Good evening, Patterson. Good evening, Madam Clerk Preston.
Good evening. Councilman Mims. Councilman Rivera.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Madam President.
Present.
Thank you. Madam President and honorable council members, this evening we have with us to render the prayer, Honorable Council President Marisa Davila, Councilwoman at Large, and also to lead us in the flag salute, Honorable Councilman Luis Velez, Councilman of the 5th Ward. Everyone, please rise for the prayer and the flag salute. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Councilman Velez, thank you for asking me to bring today's prayer. So if everyone can bow their heads. Father, I thank you for your strength and the opportunity to stand before you and the citizens of this municipality as your representative. Thank you for granting me favor to serve on this council for 8 years and as council president for 3 terms. For it is only by your grace that I am still here. Help us to legislate in wisdom and in knowledge of your will. Stir up your spirit of grace within us to work in harmony and with one another. Give wisdom and revelation to this legislative body so that our decisions will align with that you have purposed for this great city. For I believe the scripture of the book of Zechariah 4:6, that it is not by might nor by power, but it is by your spirit that we are able to guide the affairs of this city in righteousness. Father, I pray for this council will yield to the leading of your spirit, that we will drop our rocks against each other and work together in unity. For it is in unity that your anointing flows down on us and out from us to the people, and the city is saturated with your commanded blessings. Do a new thing among us as we have never seen, and let the onlookers say in amazement, this is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. This I pray in the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Council President, I want to yield my flag salute to the most vulnerable, my friend, Tony Venturi. Tony Venturi, can you come forward and do the flag salute for us?
What an honor.
I caught it by surprise. But he's ready.
Mr. Tony Venturi, 2nd Ward resident, veteran.
Please join me in saluting the flag that represents the greatest country in the world. Flag of our country, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic in which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before you all sit, there's been so much going on in our city with our youth, our children, missing sons and fathers, and just today, the sadness of seeing another shooting in another school. An 18-year-old went into a school, and there's, I believe, right now about 14 individuals amongst children who have passed on. And I want a moment of silence for our troops and for all those that have lost loved ones. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. You may have a seat. Okay, Madam Clerk, can you please read the statement of compliance?
Yes, Madam President. Statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law 2021 to 2022. Meeting date May 24, 2022, time 7 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting was compiled and disseminated in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law in the following manner. 1. The annual notice of regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council was compiled for the year 2021 to 2022 on or about July 1, 2021. 2. A schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2021 to 2022 was duly transmitted on or about July 1, 2021 to the North Jersey Herald News, The Record, the Arabic Voice, the Italian Voice, Passaic County Pulse, Dominicana News, Tiscator International, El Especial, the Paterson Press, the City Post News, and In-Paterson, in addition to any other publication duly requesting such notices. 3. The schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2021 to 2022 was prominently posted in the lobby of City Hall, first floor, in the place reserved for the announcements of this type. 4. The schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2021 to 2022 was duly filed with the municipal clerk. 5. A copy of the schedule of regular meetings of the Municipal Council was mailed to any person who requested and paid the fee authorized by the Open Public Records Act. Madam President?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Do it now.
Councilman Rivera?
Are we going to entertain the amendment now, or?
Okay, do you want to, if you want to do it now, Madam Clerk, Councilman Rivera would like to entertain the addendum to the agenda.
So you give everyone? Yes, Madam President, and honorable council members, at this time we have 2 items to be voted onto the regular meeting agenda, and the following resolutions are also scheduled for your consideration at the regular meeting of the Municipal Council to be held on Tuesday, May 24, 2022 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers, 155 Market Street, 3rd floor, Paterson, New Jersey. And items to be voted on to the regular meeting agenda, resolutions. Item number 15, resolution addressing an entertainment/show license renewal for King's Bonfire, LLC, trading as Bonfire Mofongo House at 999 Market Street in the 3rd Ward. Finance Resolution 22-311. And item number 16, resolution addressing renewal of a dance hall license for King's Bonfire LLC, trading as Bonfire Mofongo House, located at 999 Market Street in the 3rd Ward. Finance Resolution 22-312.
So move.
Moved by Councilman Velez and second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call, Madam Clerk, to add item 15 and 16 to the agenda.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call to add items 15 and 16 to the regular meeting agenda of Tuesday, May 24, 2022 at 7 p.m. And this, we need unanimous vote to vote these items on. Councilman Kalik.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilman Rivera.
Yes.
Okay, I'll just give Councilman Mims a second. Thank you. Councilman Velez
Yes.
and Councilman Mims. We have 2 items for the bonfire.
Yes.
Your vote is yes? Okay. Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 6 in favor, 3 absent. Items 15 and 16 is hereby
Thank you very much. So, Madam Clerk, we have
added to
some-
the regular meeting agenda of
Yes.
May 24th.
So, Madam Clerk, we have a family here that is very well respected by many, a veteran who served our country, and I think it would be right, Councilman Kalik, as you are sponsoring this, that we, read this into the record. So I'd like to take item number 9
Yes.
at this time.
Yes, Madam President. Item number 9 on our non-consent agenda, and item number 9 reads, Resolution designating the pathway in Veterans Memorial Park to Anthony Tony Venturi Lane. This resolution is sponsored by Councilman Shaheen Kalik, Council President Marisa Davila, and Councilwoman Ruby Encott, and co-sponsored by Councilman Michael Jackson, Councilman Alex Mendez, Councilman Luis Velez, Councilman Ala Abdelaziz, and Councilwoman Dr. Mims, and Councilman Flavia Rivera. City Council Resolution 22305.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
So it's moved by Councilman Kalik and second by Council President Davila.
And Mims.
We're gonna leave it at moving it, just like with your items that you asked, you and Councilwoman Cotton to.
But we, when, in those instances.
Okay,
it's
we're not
only
gonna
seconds
just,
on
we're
the
not gonna
floor.
argue about this. Madam Clerk, moved by Councilman Kalik and second by Council President Davila, Councilwoman Mims, Councilman Velez, Councilman Mendez, and Councilman Rivera. Okay, roll call, Madam Clerk, on item number 9 for approval.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call on item number 9 for approval. Councilman Kalik.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. What an honor. Actually, I know this family since, I believe, 93 or 94, when I was in high school, Kennedy High School. His sons, Chris and Anthony, used to go to Don Bosco, before Don Bosco High School. We played tennis together. I did not know the family that well until we started playing tennis with the kids. I used to see Mr. Venturi around there as well after school. And what can I say about Mr. Venturi? He's a veteran, he's a Pattersonian, he's a second-round resident. He's been in this area for 68 years or so. I thought he was Italian, but actually he's from Belgium. He came from Belgium. I love the soccer team. They're great. I think they're ranked number 1 or 2 in the world right now. Good luck to them in the in November World Cup. He's been advocating for the veterans since I heard of his name. He's getting grant funding from the county as well. He takes care of those veteran parks. At Hayden Heights, also that one on Union Ave. I try to give my hands, try to helping out, cleaning the parks as well. So it's an honor for me, and privilege for me to sponsor this item, to honor you, your service, and your family, to name this pathway at Hayden Memorial Park, honoring you, naming that Tony Venturi Lane. Thank you, and my vote is definitely yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and definitely today we're celebrating. There's a celebration tonight because we're honoring a person that has been a blessing for the city of Paterson. So, Mr. Venturi, you and your family have been a blessing for the city of Paterson and also for our veterans. You never stop fighting, you never stop working and advocating for veterans, looking for funding. And I see you always in the front line. I see you with the same energy. I will pray and wish God, when I get into your age, I will keep with the same energy that you have. May God continue to bless you in many, many years, because I know that you will never stop fighting for our veterans. You will never stop fighting for Paterson. You've been a true blessing for this community, and we thank you. And that's the least that we could do to honor you. your hard work, your dedication, and your commitment into the city of Patterson and to all our veterans. My vote is yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mims?
To this iconic family, to your wife, who has been a mentor for me through the educational process, to Mr. Venturi, who is just a legend, and I'm always celebratory towards you because of the fact that my uncle is a veteran. So it's always a pleasure. That's why I try never to miss the ceremonies. To your great son and his wife and the family that's here, and to everyone. These are one of the reasons why I am grateful and very humble to be a council person. When we can honor legends and icons that always stand on the front lines and advocate on the behalf of those that are less fortunate, those sometimes that are not remembered, and sometimes that are forgotten. This is an item that we're getting right on behalf of the City Council for Tony Venturi Lane. It will be my honor and my great privilege as one of the councilwomen at large to vote in favor of this great honor. My vote is absolutely yes.
Thank you,
Madam Clerk.
Councilman Rivera?
So I was fortunate to work with your wife for a couple of years and experience you coming in when you used to work for DPW, how passionate you were about the work that needed to be done in that department. I passed a few comments, when the administration came in. I was like, we should call Venturi. Maybe if he wants to come back at a different capacity, he would do a great job. You're basically, let me put it to you this way. Whenever there is an invite coming to me as a councilman for any veterans event, the first name that sticks to my head is yourself, because you're always in the forefront of every initiative that is done in the city pertaining to veterans and the parks and anything to do with veterans. So I'm not too big on, street namings, and I think we have a lot of, but when it comes to this actually makes me feel good that you're being recognized. You deserve this 100%. And we have a great family in the city of Paterson. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Velez?
I could say all night long, talking about the Venturi family. And having my father also serve in Vietnam, my nephew is still a military active in the Army, and knowing the value for veterans in my life in the city of Paterson, I could say it a lot tonight. One thing I have to thank God is that when Mr. Venturi, Tony Venturi, was going through his struggle in health, we prayed so hard that God gave you, and I'm sorry that Sophia's blocking me the view here to direct you, give me the opportunity to see you still alive. You know why? It's hard to get men and women with the capacity that you have. It's hard in these times. The legacy that you have given us to continue working on it is numerous. And I know you drafted a letter once. I was hoping to see a street, but they gave you a lane that means a lot. Means that everybody had to stay in a lane with the veterans and with this family, the Venturi family. I know your son was good, Councilman Venturi, also his daughter, teacher from New Roberto Clemente School, I believe was the last one you was? Which one? Okay. But one of the things I could say is I'm proud, we'll continue proud. Hopefully anybody that comes along understand the hard work that you have done and keep on doing on behalf of all those that sacrifice their life to call the United States of America a free land. Congratulations, and my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Madam President?
So, Mr. Venturi, I'd like you to please come to the podium. Because after I vote, I'd like for you to say a few words, okay? So,
That was for him.
you know.
Okay. So I'm going, after I vote, I'm gonna have you say a few words.
Thank
I
you.
think it would, how honored we're going to be here to hear a few words from you. I can just say, you know, I just want to thank you for being a blessing to the city of Paterson. To the family, you know, to Anne-Marie, thank you for all the support, you know, that you throughout the years. You know, we didn't just meet yesterday. And there's so much things that have been said here today, and I'm not going to continue with all of that, but I do, and I'm thankful to God because you are alive receiving this honor, where there has been others that unfortunately have not been alive. And so we thank you for your service. You know, I as well understand, you know, growing up in a household, you know, when my mom remarried, you know, to a veteran from the Korean War, my niece who went to the Navy, cousins, family, the importance to have advocates like yourself and your family, because I know you can't do this alone. You served our country well. We thank you, and I just, from the bottom of my heart, just want to say we love the Venturi family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Madam President. The vote is 6 in favor, 3 absent. Item number 9 is hereby adopted.
Okay, Mr. Venturi.
Thank you, thank you. I'm humbled tonight, I really am, and with everything going on, what a sad day today, and our prayers are with those in Texas and in Buffalo, but we still have to move forward. And the commitment that I gave to my family 51 years ago, to the love of my life, Anna-Marie, who gave me 4 beautiful children. And I do have to say, you mentioned Don Bosco, but Michelle and Christopher are Kennedy graduates, like his mom and dad.
He's a Kennedy graduate too.
My brother-in-law Al is here, who's also a Vietnam veteran. And our commitment has been simple. Help my brothers and sisters. Make sure that they get the benefits that they earned serving our country. It isn't easy to live with a veteran, as Ann can tell you, and even the kids could tell you, you know. But they were my buffer, they were my security blanket, and obviously the love of my life. Being part of the Paterson community has always been important to Ann and I. Serving 18 years on the Paterson Board of Education, and all 4 of our children graduated from college. So we're very proud of the leadership that she put in our family. And I can't do it alone. Now that she retired, she's even closer to my side. And we get things done. I want to thank DPW and Bill, who was a young guy when I was there, but he's doing a good job with Steve Howe and Manny, and we're very grateful. And when I have to say, and Jimmy Marr, when I ask for something done at the 4 military parks, and sometimes I throw in another park or 2, it's there, it's done. And that's important, because especially Memorial Park on on McBride Avenue, that identifies as many wars as possible for all the men and women that died from Paterson. And when you can go to the Hill of Heroes, instead of going to 6 different spots, and you could see them all there, and realize that it's a special place. It isn't a cemetery, it's a place of honor, because all those men are from different faith, different colors, different nationalities that represent our great city of Paterson, our great county of Passaic, our great state of New Jersey, and of course the greatest country in the world, America. I'm also grateful to the Passaic County freeholders or commissioners that helped us raise almost $600,000 in the open space money. Now, a lot of people don't know that. That open space money is Paterson taxpayers' money. So we brought $600,000 of it back to Paterson to honor our sons and daughters and fathers and moms and aunts and uncles who served our country. So to be here with gratitude, and I want to say something special about John DeCando, and who took the bull by the horn and said, you know, this is my buddy for over 50 years. You know, I'd known Tony, and when I used to work in the dye house with his dad, it was unbelievable. And Ralph Gambatese, whose father was a mentor to me, a World War II veteran with the late Walter Porter. You know, I have to say this publicly on a couple of occasions because before I considered myself a Vietnam veteran only, but it was those two gentlemen, Ralph and Walter, that said, we're all veterans. We all served the same flag, and we served the same country, and saw the blood for America. And my whole life changed. I'm a veteran, and I'm proud to wear my pin that says I'm an American veteran, not just a Vietnam veteran. And, you know, I do want to say one other thing that I'm very proud of, is that through the efforts of people like John Harris, myself, and a bunch of other Vietnam vets who went to the freeholders or the commissioners and asked them if they would consider buying the traveling wall and permanent place in Passaic County. And I want you to know, Paterson was asked first. We were asked about Paterson, but we turned them down because when you bring the wall, it represents the whole country. And 16 municipalities here in Passaic. And we're going to bring it up to Wayne. And this way it'll honor not only Paterson, it'll honor all 16 municipalities, which lost 67 sons, which includes the 33 sons right here from our beloved Paterson. So we're very happy. So our struggle for veterans is still going on. I will never stop. Ann could tell you, over the weekend, the phone didn't stop ringing. We and a bunch of other groups of volunteers put up over 2,500 flags at the cemetery at Holy Sepulchre, and they're still there to finish up the 3,800 that are buried there, and parts of Laurel Grove. So with all that said, there isn't a day go by, and I offer to all of you here, if you know someone who needs assistance, who needs guidance that he earned or she earned in the military, call me. My number is 24/7, and you have it. But again, Councilman Jackson, you're late, but I want to say thank you to you also, and with the rest of the councilmen who honored me today. I am proud, very proud Vietnam vet, and I'm very proud of this. And we would like to present to every one of you a flag and a flag pin from the Veterans Council, which has done so much since 1939 to the city of Paterson. So again, I am grateful. I thank you, Mr. Kalik. I thank you, Madam President. I thank you all. Remember, all of my brothers and sisters are standing here with me, and especially those that were their voice for. Thank you, and God bless America, and God bless Paterson.
Thank you so much. So, Mr. Venturi, You want you to come around? No, we'll do that when we do the presentation, because we don't have a presentation today. Huh? When we do the dedication.
Council President, we should take a picture with the flag and him in the middle.
We will. We're gonna take a picture. You're gonna stay right here in the middle.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so we gotta do this for the family. Come on, Councilman.
Bring the whole family.
Yeah, yeah.
Item that needs 6 votes. Council President have to recuse from one. Yeah, number 12 and 13.
Fucking bullshit. David B. Gilmore, Vietnam era vet. Sergeant. I'm good. Denied my First Amendment right to speak. A whole bunch of people witnessed it. Nobody said shit. Did you know that, Mike? I'm a Vietnam era vet. Denied my right to speak at this conference. And nobody said shit. It's there. Shit is not gonna go. Shit is not gonna go unchallenged. Fuck that.
Okay, council members.
I have the one thing the boys don't have. My birthday is Veterans Day.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's awesome. Okay. Council members, please have a seat. Yeah. So, council members. All right. Take over for a minute. Do it.
Madam Clerk, we'll take item 15 and 16 now.
We're doing 15 and 16?
You have it?
I thought we were doing the one for Council President. I know, I understand, but item number,
15 and 16.
Mr. President, since Council President is not sitting there, she has to recuse herself from item number 13. Would you like to
Sure,
address
sure.
that one?
Yeah, sure.
Because she cannot be there when we're doing number 13. Number 13, she had to recuse herself from that one.
15 and 16.
Yes, go ahead.
Can I go ahead?
Item 13,
Okay,
correct?
thanks, Mr. President. Next item is item number 13, resolution on the Patterson Code, Chapter 129, entitled Bazaars for the Passaic County Community College to conduct a festival at Mary Ellen Kramer Park, Patterson, Great Falls. Finance Resolution 22309.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on item number 13 for approval. Councilman Jackson, number 13.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez,
Yes.
Councilman Mims,
Yes.
Councilman Rivera,
Yes.
Councilman Velez,
Yes.
Let the record reflect that Council President Davila had recused herself from item number 13. Mr. President,
Yes.
the vote is 6 in favor, 2 absent. Let the record reflect that Council President had recused herself from item number 13. Therefore, item number 13 is hereby adopted.
We'll take item 15 next.
Yes,
Can we
Mr.
take
President.
15 and 16 together?
Sure, yes, we can do. There we go. Okay. Next items on the agenda is items 15 and 16. Item number 15 reads resolution addressing an entertainment show license renewal for King's Bonfire LLC, trading as Bonfire Mafunga House, located at 99 Market Street in the 3rd Ward. Finance Resolution 22-311. And item number 16, resolution addressing renewal of a dance hall license for King's Bonfire LLC, trading as Bonfire Mafunga House, located at 999 Market Street, 3rd Ward. Finance Resolution 22-312.
So move it.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call, Madam Clerk. Item 15 and 16.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on items number 15 and 16. Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yeah, the bonfire is located right in the 3rd Ward. It's one of the business that, hired one of the business that hired the largest group of Pattersonian in terms of restaurant. And it's a blessing to have them in the city of Patterson doing business. So my vote is yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Great place, great food, great people. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Mr. President,
My vote is yes.
the vote is 6 in favor, 3 absent. Items 15 and 16 is hereby adopted.
We'll take the consent agenda now, Madam Clerk.
Payment of
Yes.
bills,
Yes, Mr.
payment
President.
of bills.
Next
Congrats
item.
on that, on the approval of 1516, Madam Clerk. I apologize. Just wanted to point out that was corny what Councilman Velez said, adopting some of the mayor's jargon. Don't run with that. Don't run.
I actually say Great Falls.
We'll take the consent agenda now, Madam
Yes,
Clerk.
Mr. President. Next item is our consent agenda items. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the council and will be enacted by one motion. The items listed on the consent agenda are numbers 3 through 7. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda by the request of any council member, and if so removed, will be treated as a separate matter.
Move.
Second,
Moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on the consent agenda items 3 through 7. Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilman Mims?
So before I vote, I just want to put on record to the stellar performance of Councilwoman Vera Ames of the 4th Ward while she was here, but also her heart and passion for the city to the point that initially the street was going to be named Vera Ames Way, but because she was such a community-focused person, she changed it to the Vera Ames Community Park. I want to put that on the record, and this item just makes some adjustments to the designation of the street naming. But I wanted to put that on the record for the community, just to know the heart and the passion of my babysitter, Councilman Vera Ames. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
The vote is 6 in favor, 3 absent. Items 3 through 7 on the consent agenda is hereby adopted.
We'll take payments of bill now.
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes, we have payments for May 24, 2022. We have total payments of $6,178,081.91, of which $5,086,223 is for the Board of Education payment. There is no payroll on this bill list.
Second.
Move. No, there is no payment for the garbage. Moved by and second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call and payment of bills in the amount of $6,178,081.91. Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Well, listen, I'm hoping moving forward, this council's looking to be a little more responsible. It doesn't make sense that we're continuously having to comb the agenda or the bills list to see whether or not there's a payment to this rogue, disgusting, terrible garbage company that's rendering terrible services to the community. I understand there's nothing here now, but it's far too long. We're going on here several years, making the same complaints every year with no cure to the conditions. So, Madam Clerk, I appreciate that. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mendez?
My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Mims?
So when the bills list come before us, these are services that have been rendered and they deserve to be paid. If someone provides service, we have to pay our bills, and that's what this is for. As a person that pays her bills, I believe in paying bills. My vote is yes.
Councilman Rivera?
I don't want to repeat what you just said, Councilwoman, but she said it, what I had in mind. Services were provided. The way to handle it is not through the bills list. We could have a discussion after. There's things that could be put in place. Enforcement is one, which we're lacking. So my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Just to address the comment of Councilman Jackson, we have an RFP out there that hopefully will address the problem that we have with the garbage collection. If we are lucky enough to not have this company around, let's cross our fingers. But if this company is the successful bidder of the RFP that is out there, then we have to have a straight conversation with them and make sure that they fulfill their responsibility in the contract and make them accountable or whatever they do out there. So saying that, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President?
Yes, Madam Clerk. We'll take item 10 and 11 now.
I'm sorry. Councilwoman Davila, did you want to vote on the payment of bills? We're doing payment of bills? I know the president voted already, but it's okay. We can still vote.
I'm sorry, so you did the...
We just
You
did.
did, I needed to recuse myself. That item was done, correct?
Yes.
Yes, that one is done.
We
Oh,
just
no.
did payments of bill now.
That's a payment of bills,
Okay, and
your
you did
vote.
consent?
Yes.
Yes.
So now you want to do items 10 and 11?
Yes, please.
No, we're doing the payment of bills. I wanted to get your vote.
Oh, yes.
Okay, thank you. The vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. Payment of bills in the amount of $6,178,081.91 is hereby adopted.
Council President.
Councilman, actually, before I give you the word, I want everyone to know Councilman Abdulaziz is not here. He's lost a loved one earlier today, a very close family member. So right now, he's in mourning. It just happened a few hours ago, and that is why he is not here today. Councilman Jackson?
Thank you, Council President. So, acknowledging that we have a very short agenda, and I'll be easy, but I definitely wanted to add some commentary, mostly because of the things that are continuously happening throughout the city. I'm glad to have had an opportunity to speak to Mr. Ibushi, Corporation Counsel, on the way in. But relative to this garbage company and certain comments made by certain council members about what things can and cannot be done, the fact of the matter is we can have contractual agreements with everything, and if there is no level of accountability, then it means nothing. We write the laws, and today I got into a very big altercation. I'm sure some of you seen it on my Facebook Live page with a police officer because they continuously illegally closed the road. I want to set a few things straight, Corporation Counsel. Contractors don't have the ability to close the road. If I want to do work in front of my house, I just can't put cones out there. I can't hire some guy with an Italian name or Jewish or whatever name and let him come there and just put cones out in front of my house and close the road. You have to, file for a road closure permit. You have to have a police officer there. They have to pay for that police officer. The police officer then has the jurisdiction to close the road. So why are we still dealing with road closures at 7:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning? You can't get to school, you can't get to work, and they're doing whatever they want to do. Then when I went out there, he had the audacity. Unfortunately, I wanted to respect his position and not really put his face on the camera, but I made a huge mistake because he gestured as if he was going to hit me. He came back, he walked away from me, I continued to follow him, and he gestured as if he was going to hit me. Now imagine that. I was hopeful, but it didn't happen. But just to be clear, I have no intent on hitting a police officer. Don't worry, I can eat that. Trust me. But the fact that he did that with a person that he knows holds a position, imagine how he treats a normal citizen. And this type of activity is going on all the time. They disregard the laws, the contracts, so it doesn't matter who wins the bid. If there's no level of accountability, and we know none exists with this administration, we're going to get the same product. The community is getting crapped on. And we're sitting here and allowing it by approving these bills and these payments. Yeah, we know other people need to get paid. Separate the bills list. We have the capacity to do that and hold their payment until they start conducting themselves like a professional. If they can't, then we don't have to pay them. They're not rendering the services. There's contractual obligations in there. They must travel with a broom, a shovel. They're not doing it. They're dirtying our streets. And if they're doing so, we have the ability to hold their payment. We do. And it exists in any contract. If anybody knows, has been in business, you don't have to pay someone who's not rendering the services that's promised. So I just wanted to put that out there, Council President. It's very disappointing to have to deal with people who work in our community. Obviously, he showed on the video, he doesn't live here. His kids aren't inconvenienced by him allowing that road to be closed at 7:30. And obviously, none of the other administration do either. But this is the type of activity or type of treatment that we continuously receive. And I'm not standing still for it.
Thank you very much. And just to, yeah, we'll finish the items, but just so you know, we did have that discussion in finance today, and
Also,
Madam BA.
in DPW too.
Correct, but I would just want to, because the administration was not there, and Madam BA was there in Corporation Council, and I do know that certain phone calls were made to address the issue, because it is clear that there's some other issues with some of the officers not understanding the city ordinances that are put in place. And so we had that discussion, and we can definitely further discuss. I wish Corporation Council was here, but when he comes back, you know, I'll have him address that, okay?
Yeah, I mean, just to point out, I said it's a law, and he's like, no, it's an ordinance. Well, ordinance is a law.
Ordinance is a law.
Obviously,
Correct.
how you a police officer, you don't know what the laws that's being subscribed here in this point. Not only that, I just want to also point this out. I tried to take the liberty to find it, but there's other state statutes that require them to do other things as well. They must, if you go through other communities, you'll see a mile before the construction, there's signage letting people know.
Right.
They don't do that here. They close whatever road they want. Then the guy who he said was in charge from the construction company, oh yeah, that black one, it gotta go. So that's how they treat our community. Let's just tow these cars, come in here, inconvenience our people, make a bunch of money, break the law, and then don't get scrutinized for it. Well, I'm not, other people might sit quietly for it, but I won't.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilman Jackson. Let's move on with the agenda, okay? We have various items left, so let us move on to the second reading ordinance.
Just one.
I'm sorry. So, Madam Clerk, item number 1.
Yes, Madam President. Next item on the agenda is our second reading ordinance. Item number 1, public hearing is required. This ordinance reads, ordinance establishing a 15-minute parking zone on East 16th Street between 4th Avenue and River Street. Department of Public Works, ordinance 22044.
So move.
Second.
Move. 1 second, I need to call the vote. Moved by Councilman Velez and second by Councilman Mendez. The public portion is, the public hearing is now open for item number 1.
This 15 In the ordinance, that's right there by that messed up intersection where we stop on one street to try to get back onto River Street by the Sealy's and the laundromat?
No,
That's not that intersection?
no, and Sixth Avenue.
No. Sixth Avenue is the carniceria.
That's one we're talking about.
That's where you're talking about because this says 16th Street and 4th Avenue and River Street. That would be by the Sealy's.
It's East 16th between 4th and River.
Yeah.
No.
To do a 15-minute parking, that's like horrible because that intersection, after we stop, we have to come out to still be able to see. So if you're having a 15-minute parking right there, you're just gonna jam us all up because it's River Street keeps going, 4th Ave has to stop. River Street keeps going, 4th Ave has a stop, and East 16th has a stop. It's a street that goes like this, and it's like a Y kind of K. That's a bad idea to do a 15-minute parking zone right there. There's a school zone there, and I stopped my car in the middle of River Street to let kids cross in the morning, because we don't have a crossing guard down there because the school's a little bit up more. But no, can we like think about that really, really long and hard? That's it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Council President, is there a?
One second. Can motion to close the public hearing? I know, I'm going to
Move to
address it.
close.
Move to
Move to
close.
close the public hearing by Councilman Mendez and second by Councilman Velez. I'm going to address the director and her comment. Roll call to close the public hearing on item number 1 for second reading.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call to close the public hearing, item number 1, Councilman Jackson,
Yes.
Councilman Khalid,
Yes.
Councilman Mendez,
Yes.
Councilman Mims,
Yes.
Councilman Rivera,
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Madam President.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. The public hearing is now closed on item number 1.
Okay, so thank you very much. So Director, just to answer the constituent who came forth regarding item number 2 in the public hearing, item number 1, I know that this item went through DPW committee.
Yes.
There was a traffic engineer.
Yes.
So if you can please address the concern.
That none of those concerns were brought up in committee before tonight.
What was that again?
None of those concerns were brought up
All right, so
in
I think what
committee
you're saying,
or
one
before
second.
tonight.
1 second. So Councilman Mendez is actually showing me the corner. It doesn't seem like the.
You're in the wrong corner.
He just,
That's
he's
right.
showing me right now the actual, and there's a church there, so it's,
No,
No.
it's not.
no, because it's, I guess, kind of off it. That's why it's mentioned.
Because it's between.
It's about 50 feet back before River Street, 4th Ave cuts. It's not really,
There is a map, there is a
Yes.
map attached to the resolution.
Right, no, yeah.
Sure, but it's not. That's not the corner. It's not connected with
no, it's
River
not.
Street.
It's a
It's
couple
not.
feet
It's
back.
not.
Okay.
Yes.
So she's good.
Okay, so,
not.
very well, all right. So, Madam Clerk, all right, thank you very much. Madam Clerk, roll call on item number 1 for approval.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call on item number 1 for second reading. Councilman Jackson,
Yes.
Councilman Khalid,
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
Yes.
Councilman Rivera,
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Madam President.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. Item number 1 is hereby adopted on second reading.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, you said you wanted us to do item 12?
Yes, ma'am, because we
Okay.
needed 6 affirmative votes.
Okay, very good.
Next item, can I continue, Council President?
Yes,
Continue.
item
Next
number
item is
12.
item number 12 on the non-consent agenda. Resolution authorizing calendar year 2022 emergency temporary appropriations for the months of June through July 2022. Finance Resolution 22308.
Move.
Moved by
Discussion.
Councilman, was that Mendez or Rivera?
No, I just asked for discussion.
No, you
before we
can't
move.
have for discussion till you move in second. Okay, moved by Councilman Velez, second. Temporary
Rivera.
budgets,
I second that.
Second by Councilman Rivera, discussion by Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Madam President. And just a question, Madam VA. We moved from fiscal year to calendar year just to avoid the situation that for many years we wait until the last inning to get the budget adopted. Just for information for the public, can you explain and give us detail when you're going to be presenting the budget into the council and into the city?
Sure, thank you, Councilman. The calendar year reversion was not necessarily to avoid a delay. There was always going to be some delay, whether it was in the beginning of the year. The state actually has two processes for our transitional aid applications, one for people who are on the calendar year, one who are on a fiscal year. So in both of them, there is a slight delay. The city is going to have to pass temporary budgets up to a certain point in time. We have not yet received our award letter of our transitional aid for this year. We do hope to have that for either the first meeting in June or the second meeting in June. That is our hope in our conversation with DCA. So we hope to proceed at that point.
So second meeting in June is next week, following.
Thank you.
No, there's two.
Two
There are
weeks
two.
from
We
now.
have
June
two
9th.
options. Yep,
June
so
9th
two
is
options.
the first, and then June 14th.
2 weeks.
Councilman Rivera.
So that's reasonable. I just want to make sure that if it comes a time where the state is struggling to make a decision with their budget, that we have that conversation with them where we could anticipate at least what's stated on the MOU, which is 15% of the previous year, which we've done in the past. This is not the first time that it could be done. Right now, the timing, we're not that off, right? We're in May. But if it comes a time, we cannot go 7-8 months without having a budget adopted. So I just want to put that out there.
Okay.
Council President,
Councilman Jackson.
I totally disagree. One, the sales pitch that was presented to us by the administration in moving and changing to a calendar year was, in fact, accurate what Councilman Mendez said, that we would not have to continuously wait and extend these waiting periods without having a clear number. We talked about the time frame in which the state did their budgeting and how those things, it was a promise that again was made for this council to make a decision to move to a calendar year, and yet another promise broken. So I recall specifically that we were not going to have to wait extensively for this process, and yet here we are. Can anyone explain to me what's been the benefit to the community in changing to a calendar year? There is none. There hasn't been any. The same circumstances still exist.
So to that question, Madam VA.
Thank you, Councilman, or Council President. Yes, actually, we did have, there are numerous benefits for switching. One of which is that we have improved the cash flow of the city so that we're able to withstand and not have to borrow bonds or TANs in order to pay bills. It's something that we're also creating, reserve accounts that'll help us be better fiscally sound. It's something that our rating agencies look at, and so that has a huge benefit to residents down the road, that we'll be able to have a better rating at some point because we'll have to spend less on interest and the like. There are numerous reasons why the calendar year reversion, it wasn't an issue of the timing. There was always going to be a delay with transitional aid awards.
Council President.
Okay.
Can I just be?
Councilman Rivera, and then was it Rivera?
He was first. Velez was first.
Velez, Jackson, Rivera.
Okay, through the chair, Madam BA, I noticed here that the first temporary budget that you actually was 67 million, then 83 million and change. Now it's 35 millions. Our annual budget represent what? If we was going to approve annually? 300?
250 million?
250 million?
And I'm going to have the CFO answer any of these
Please,
questions.
before I do my comment.
No, it is 250 million,
Oh,
but anything further.
250?
Yes.
So in other words, you're trying to stay on that fashion about 250 million if it was yearly? Because you have, if we approve this today, it will be 186 million total.
So it all depends, Councilman. In April, we have a pension payment that's $30 million. So it depends when payments come up.
Correct. So this will not represent a tax increase, nothing like that, right, if we do it?
Oh, the temporary budget is different from the introduced
I
budget.
know, it would not represent an increase in the levy. Correct, okay. Thank you.
Councilman Jackson? No, it was it was Velez Jackson.
Very good.
Rivera.
So, just to recap on the BA's commentary, and that's fantastic. I'm glad that some of those benefits do exist. But if you read the paper, right next to the picture that they have a mugshot of me with this indictment and me not taking this plea agreement, there was an officer that was being interviewed in court that talked about the corruption within the police department. And he talked about the fact that the reason this corruption existed is because they were paid so poorly. So if we're looking at circumstances, because that's even in the PD where the majority of these officers are paid a fair livable wage. If we are seeing this benefit, then why are we still having so many disgruntled employees who are being underpaid? And why are we continuously dealing with the same things? I mean, it sounds so beautifully when we're here. It sounds like peaches and roses until you go outside and realize that the city is being ran terribly. So I'm just trying to, understand, and how are we going to continuously support these things as, again, the community is seeing such a poor benefit. So it sounds great, but I'm not sold on it. So I appreciate your time, Council President.
Thank you. Councilman
I'll
Rivera?
keep it brief. So throughout the years, every time there was a delay in adopting the budget, it was often said that it was because it was a fiscal year, because we're under a fiscal year, and we were waiting on the state to adopt their budget, to make a decision on transitional aid. According to the law, the budget must be introduced. Doesn't mean it have to be. Some municipalities, if they haven't straightened out their numbers, they go a little bit further. But the introduction date by law is February 10th or 1st? February 10th. That doesn't mean that it gets done, hear me out, I'm looking at the law right now. Doesn't mean it gets done on February 10th. But the introduction of the budget, we should see it soon. And the introduced budget should reflect what the adopted budget is gonna be, which we've done a better job than in the past. Doesn't change much. But the statement made by my colleagues is correct. Part of the sales pitch to doing this was that we could get the transitional aid numbers sooner now, instead of, because again, we were in a fiscal year just like the state. We thought it was gonna improve the situation, and we must demand from the state to at least allow us to anticipate a certain amount, because they're putting their budget together. They should have an idea how much they're allocating for us, right? If things change, then we must make an amendment or something. But delaying the process is unacceptable. We should talk to our monitors. We're already going into June, and I just hope we see an introduced budget soon. If not, the reason some of us, basically went for this change of, fiscal year to calendar year was because we were gonna have better budgeting practice when it came to the adoption timing. And this is not happening. It's not as bad as it was in the past, but I just need to see an introduced budget by June. And then we could follow it up and maybe adopt a budget by July, and that's kind of acceptable, somehow.
Okay. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, roll call on item number
12.
12.
Yes. Roll call on item number 12 for approval. Councilman Jackson?
No.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The reason why I opened the discussion and I asked this question is because I definitely remember the conversation in that speech that the changing from a fiscal year to a calendar year, it was to avoid those, temporary appropriation and temporary appropriation. What's the problem with the temporary appropriation that we're doing? The problem is that we're waiting into the last inning, and at the time when we get the budget to approve it, there's no room to reduce anything, and our taxpayer are the one to pay, with the tax increase. They were the one to get hit with tax increase after tax increase. That is a problem. That is the reason why I'm so against seeing all those, temporary appropriation after temporary appropriation. Yes, it's unacceptable. That was the idea from changing from fiscal year to calendar year. My vote is no.
Madam President and honorable council members, this resolution needs 6 affirmative votes to adopt it. Councilman Mendez said your vote is no. Thank you. Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
So real quick, this is nothing new. Every year, when you have those issues where it's too late to cut, it's when you already have a deficit. We have many discussions in finance. We don't project having a deficit this year. So the temporary budget that is being presented is a percentage of last year's budget. This is what is done throughout the 564 municipalities. It was 566. I think we have 565 municipalities. Now, there's only 3 legal ways to spend money, and this is one of them. If we don't have a budget, a temporary budget, then the city must close down. That's all I gotta say. Respect everyone's vote, but if there's no budget, there is no legal basis to spend money for salaries, for anything. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
That was the main reason I asked the numbers from the year budget and what we have now. Because if you're gonna move to a higher office, you have to understand what a budget means. So my vote is yes.
Madam President?
So before I vote, I would like to ask the 2 council members that voted no if there would be a reconsideration. And it's sad because we don't have a full council and a council member that would have been here understanding how we have to run government, unfortunately, had a death in the family just a few hours ago.
Council President.
So I'm asking for a consideration. It's a yes or a no.
Sure, let me consider it. So, one, totally understanding how government runs and understanding there's a necessity for balance, a balance amongst the council and the administration. Without the council holding the administration accountable, there exists no balance. So until the council, until we have people who are missing, who aren't, let me not say anything derogatory, but if there's gonna be accountability, it starts with a vote. You can say whatever you wanna say, you can make all the noise you wanna make, and then come here and vote in the affirmative. What does that do? So let me reconsider my vote. Madam Clerk, no.
Okay, so this is not a laughing matter. This is not a laughing matter. So I'm gonna say this. If when I ask for reconsideration, in the past, there's been council members that have made suggestions or changes. Do you have any?
Well, my issue with this scenario, Council President, is the fact that when we supported the move to a calendar year, there were promises that were made that obviously even the chair of finance surprisingly acknowledges. And here we are 4 years later, still dealing with the same issue. So I cannot support something I can make a suggestion. The suggestion is to do what was promised. Simply that.
Council President.
Have the appropriate personnel there that can handle the budgeting process and be responsible.
Okay. So
Before you
said
vote,
no.
Council President.
Okay, one second, council
still a roll
members.
call.
I have the floor, I'm the one voting, and I asked the 2 council members if there would be a consideration, okay? Councilman Jackson said no. Councilman Mendez?
And I just...
And if you have any suggestions for any changes?
Sure, and I just want to say this,
Recommendations.
Madam President, I just want to say this. I believe it's very disrespectful from you to say that unfortunately the person that knows how to run government is not here. That's a very disrespectful from your part. I know how government works the same way you know how government works. I've been sitting here and I've been making my decision. And the vote is the only thing that I have. This administration promised that they're going to change the way they're running the situation with the budget. The reason why they moved from a fiscal year to a calendar year was to avoid this transition, this appropriation. I have the right to say 4 years passed. What are you doing? You're supposed to bring the budget. My vote is no. I have all the right to say no because they failed.
And you do.
They
And
failed. So now it's very disrespectful. And let me just say, and just for all the residents of the city of Patterson, I'm just here because I do believe that I could definitely bring a lot to the table to move the city forward. And let me just say this. I think this is not the best way for you to say, oh, would you like to change the vote? You have any recommendation by insulting my intelligence? That's not the right way to do.
so, you know what, I will not allow, and I'm not gonna allow, so first and foremost, my apologies if you thought that my statement was disrespectful, so my apologies, okay? So with that said, I'm gonna say this, I wish those same comments you had here, you would have had when we were in finance. This is all about, it's all about a show. We all see what's happening. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk. This item has failed.
President, got a question for you.
Madam Clerk, can you please read
Yes, Madam President.
the votes?
The vote is 5 in favor, 2 against, 2 absent. Item number 12 failed.
Okay.
Council
Very well.
President?
Thank you very much. I'd like to continue with the agenda.
It's an important question to legal, Corporation Counsel.
Okay, Councilman Velez to Corporation Counsel.
Just to clarify things here, when Council President requests a reconsideration of vote, it's a consideration of vote. Everybody knows they voted no, but you're considering to change your vote with the word reconsideration of vote. So the person take the floor to make a comment and still vote no. So what's the sense of the person saying reconsideration?
Corporation Counsel.
Thank you, Council President, and thank you, Councilman Velez, for that question. I will also invite Madam Clerk to weigh in if she so feels, but certainly anyone that can reconsider their vote can reconsider their vote. They can publicly state their consideration and what their thought process is, and ultimately, if they decide to stick with their original vote, then, you know, that's part of it. Reconsideration doesn't necessarily mean that you will change your vote. It just means that you will reconsider the question posed. Thank you.
That's very well.
So the question was clear.
Okay, that's okay. We're
You know
not
what I
gonna-
mean?
No, understood, but we're not gonna continue festering on that. Let us continue with,
That's what we
with
asked.
so, you know, and just for the record, again, I wasn't making a statement that the council members who voted no didn't understand. I said that an individual who's not here, who understands city government. So, Madam Clerk, we have item number 8. Let's go with item number 8 item number 8 on the non-consent.
Yes, Madam President. Next item is item number 8 on the non-consent agenda. And item number 8 read, resolution honoring Principal Felicia Van Loo for her years of service to education in the city of Patterson, sponsored by Councilwoman Dr. Lelisa Mims, and co-sponsored by Councilwoman Ruby N. Cotton and Councilman Luis Velez.
So moved.
City
So
Council,
moved.
Resolution 22304.
So moved.
So
Second.
moved.
Okay. Moved by Councilwoman Mims and second by Councilman Velez. Madam Clerk, roll call on item number 8 for approval.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call on item number 8 for approval. Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Khalid?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilman Mims?
So this is really an honor. I have been a partner of School 2 for many years, as I have a great picture of me and Rocky, when they needed autism signs. We had no autism signs in the city, and I work with DPW and Mr. Robert Suduto, and we created them based on the state's website. So they were the very first autism signs that were placed at School 2, and then after that at Martin Luther King School, which is formerly known as School 30. But she is a soror. She is also my link sister, and she is definitely a friend. She's been doing educational excellence in our district for 52 years. So as long as I've been born, Principal Dr. Felicia Van Loo, and today the mayor awarded her the key to the city, which was well deserved. So this is in honor of her and the great work that she's done at School 2. I was really happy to know Bob Garashia, shout out to you, that you've already got her for NJCDC. You're a smart man. So with that being said, Ms. Van Loo, you deserve this and so much more. This is a part of giving you your flowers while you can smell them. My vote is yes.
Councilwoman,
Thank you.
we moved it and seconded.
We're voting on it.
You went straight?
We're voting on it,
Okay,
Council President.
Okay. Oh, that was fast.
Yeah, we're voting.
Yeah,
Just to reiterate, my vote is yes.
thank you. Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
It's a blessing. My vote is yes.
Madam President?
Congratulations, my vote is yes.
The vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. Item number 8 is hereby adopted.
Items 10 and 11?
Yes, Madam President. Next items on the non-consent agenda is items 10 and 11. And item number 10 reads, resolution addressing a new entertainment/show license for Patterson PBA charitable organization by Alex Cruz, President, 513-517 21st Avenue in the 6th Ward. Finance Resolution 22306. And item number 11 reads, resolution addressing a new dancehall license for Patterson PBA charitable organization by Alex Cruz, President, 513-517
So move.
21st Avenue in the 6th Ward. Finance Resolution 22307.
So move.
Moved by Councilman Velez and second by Councilman Mendez.
Discussion.
Discussion by Councilman Velez.
Just because I put it in the regular, not consent agenda, I did my diligence to make sure that the whole ordinance have the approval from zoning when they went in front of zoning and everything, so you could see they attached as they came forward, all the documents, Council President, everything is well fine on it. So all the documents and the minutes of the zoning board are attached to it, so that's why we move it forward. Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Roll call, Madam Clerk, on items
Yes,
10 and 11.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call on items number 10 and 11. Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Khalid?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
I definitely want to take this time to congratulate PBA President Alex Cruz, his VP, Mr. Mason, for the outstanding job on that community center, because I was at the grand opening and I was very pleased to hear the way they're planning to run this. This is going to be a open location for those not-for-profit that planning to do event and to assist them in, when they have those functions at no cost. That's going to be a blessing for the community and also for the city. So once again, Mr. Alex Cruz, congratulations. Job well done. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Mims?
So last week, I was very clear. It should stay on the agenda. I'm glad it did. They're doing great work on 21st Ave. They've done many things for the community for years, and they decided to renovate this beautiful space. And Patterson needs as much recreation as it can get. I don't do politics when it comes to kids and recreation. So with this item, I'm glad it stayed on the agenda and we're moving forward. My vote is absolutely yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Well, nobody was playing politics with this application. We want to make sure that all the requirement documents are in place before the residents of the area come and question us why we approve things. So it's clear enough that the zoning had some minutes that had to be attached to this resolution to have supported documents. PBA Local 1, under the president of Mr. Alex Cruz and Mr. Myers, they have been doing a great job. Everybody knows that. Not even Patterson, even Puerto Rico and the places that have been doing work for others. So my vote is yes.
Thank you. Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. Items number 10 and 11 is hereby adopted.
Madam Clerk, item number 2 for first reading.
Next item is item number 2 for first reading. No public hearing is required, and capital ordinance providing for various park improvements by and in the city of Patterson, the county of Passaic, state of New Jersey, and appropriating $5,700,000 therefore from grant proceeds received pursuant to the Federal American Rescue Plan to pay for the cost thereof. Finance.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Okay, moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilwoman Mims and Davila. Roll call, Madam Clerk, on item number 2 for first reading.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call on item number 2 for first reading. Councilman Jackson.
So does this item include the items for Commons Park as well?
Yes.
Yes.
It's on the page 4.
Okay, very good, thank you. So let me just say this before I vote, because there needs to be, somebody needs to answer this question, council members. First of all, you know, I had the misfortune of hosting a family who had a 15-year-old daughter murdered in the city of Paterson on the streets. You know, the amount of vagrancy we have going on. I was on Market Street and I'm watching somebody, a young kid, ride a motorcycle at about 45, 50 miles per hour on a sidewalk, going up Market Street, across intersections, and we're providing very little. Then, with the effort that we're all trying to make, on a Saturday where my daughters haven't played, the boys' baseball league is launched almost 2 months ago. My daughters haven't played one game yet. And the mayor makes an executive decision to cancel all activities on Saturday. Let's forget providing cooling stations or providing water and things of that nature for them. We're gonna just cancel everything that the youth has to do. It's bad enough we have very little to do. Then he gets online to make an executive decision to cancel all sports and recreational activities for Saturday and Sunday. But no, he did not. Director Wimberly did not have anything to do it. It was the mayor who made the call. Not only that, once he got pressured, then they resumed the adult leagues so that the adults can continuously play. If you have idle children, what else do you expect of them? So we provide nothing, no outlets for our community, for our kids. And then we sit back here, we fund these things only to have an executive decision made. I mean, maybe some of you took part in that decision. Maybe some of you were consulted in that decision. Maybe some of you have children that participate and had an opportunity to weigh in. Everything is about a press conference and an executive order, and we're shortchanging our kids, and this is the type of things we're going through. So as we're sitting here voting in the approval of all this grant money to continuously be spent, so we can have ribbon cuttings and photo ops and press conferences, the kids are still getting shorted. So I'm hoping, council members, that we can get an answer. I saw the director was here, but we need an answer on why activities like this being cut, especially when you have such a high rate of crime and violence going on in the community that's being committed by young people. It's absolutely ridiculous. But with that being said, Madam Clerk, obviously I'm supporting this because it's necessary, but it matters not. You can support these things and they still get pushed to the side. The community's best interest gets pushed to the side. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Kalik?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. With this money, we'll upgrade 15 components of our city parks. Commons Field, $1.5 million. They're going to put the turf, fence, light, bathroom there, upgraded. West Side Park as well. So definitely I want to see upgrade in our park so our children and even adults could play in a decent field. So definitely my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And I just, before my vote, definitely, I know we all received the calls about the suspension of the activity in the park this weekend. And yes, that is correct. The Director of Recreation, they had nothing to do with that decision. And also DPW Director didn't call for the closing. That was the mayor, that he took it upon himself. And he just decided to cancel all those activities, not even thinking about, there's nothing for our children here. If we look around the city, I mean, just stopping all the recreational activity in the city, where our crime rate is so high, the highest in the history of the city. And the only thing that our children have is just get on the street, get on the corner. I don't really know what's going through his mind. I'm just gonna say this, that as a mayor, you have directors, you have people that expert, that you should listen to their opinion and their direction. A true leader listens to the opinion of the people that he put in charge. With that being said, there's a allocation of funds for Eastside Park on this location. And just a note, Madam BA, I asked for all the additional funding that we have allocated for Eastside Park, because I just want to make sure that the tennis court get fixed, the playground. We have to improve Eastside Park. It's the most, and I'm advocating for the different park. Westside Park is included in this list, and I'm looking forward to see, the project back into the council in order for us to approve it one by one. So my vote is yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Mims?
So right before I vote, last week I made a request, because when you look at the allocation of how the funds will be spent, for Bear Track Park, it mentions a basketball court, but that was updated. I gave it to Madam BA, and she did send it. So to our Madam Clerk, can we just make sure that we send the updated document for page number 4? Because on page 4, it's still showing basketball court, and the family is still alive, and they do not want a basketball court at that park. And I just want to make sure I'm not voting for what is not being requested. I know it was sent, right, Madam BA?
Yes, Madam Clerk, I had sent you the backup, the edited backup last week on the 19th. If you want to look in your email, both to you and Deputy Clerk and to Sophia, so that it's the updated sheet for DocuWare.
Okay, so as long as it's been updated and that's what we're voting on, then my vote is yes. I just don't want it to be documented basketball court, and that is not what's needed. We've worked very tirelessly in that park to remove the gang infiltration and a lot of the gang initiation that was going on in that park, and we worked hard to take it back for our residents and our youth, and so we want to make sure it stays a place where our kids and our families have a proper place to play and have activity. With that being stated, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
So ladies and gentlemen, in the past few years, Common Field was brought up to our attention by Councilman Jackson. Since the young girl got hurt, I believe so. Tyrone Collins Park, the situation with the chain fence links was brought up by myself and Councilwoman Mims, that we did a site visit a couple years ago. Car parks, playground, training pad was brought up by Councilwoman Mims. Eastside Park Master Plan and Frank Lunenburg Playground was lobbied by former Councilman McCoy, now by Councilman Mendez and Mims. Roberto Clemente, the fence problem that we have, that will alleviate a lot of problems that we have there, was brought up by myself and other council members that joined into the call. Alabama Trenton Door Park is a new project that was brought up by Councilman Abdelaziz. Bourbon Park was Ruby Cotton. Westside Park, Khalik. Lou Costello Park Pool and Riverside Veteran Pool was brought up by all the council members because the summer is always approaching and we need the pool updated. Trenton and 23rd, that's a playground that was brought up also by the recommendation about Abdelaziz. Barkley Park, Flash, was also brought up by Councilman Ruby Cotton. Beer Track, Anthony Duke-Lucas, and the fencing and the issues, Councilwoman Mims. Westside Park, Total Oval, Turf Field, Light was lobbied also by Councilman Khalik. Now they listen to us. The years that we've been fighting for this, now we have the money, we have to spend it what the community needs. And this is a well-invested process that we're doing now. You know, people say to invest in our parks and our kids, it's time to do it now, we have the money. But way back, this council had been requesting this upgrades or fix the facilities, so it's could get done. today in council, in DPW committee, a lot of orders was put in already to make the work done faster. So my vote is yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
the vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. Item number 2 is hereby adopted on first reading. Second reading will be held at the next regular meeting on June 14, 2022 at 7 p.m. Okay.
Madam Clerk, we'll take item number 14 now.
Yes, Mr. President. Next item is item number 14 on the non-consent agenda. Resolution authorizing submission of a grant application and agreement for state aid under the New Jersey Transportation Trust Fund 2023 resurfacing, Department of Public Works, Resolution 22310.
So move.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 14 for approval. Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
So before I vote, last week I mentioned in the meeting that there were some roads that were not paved, and it was mentioned that they were paved. I drove the roads here to the meeting, and they were clearly not paved. On the way home, a couple council members called me and said, Councilman Mims, you're exactly right. I am happy that the roads are being done, but I'm gonna put it back on the record. 2 things. 1, there needs to be an assessment of all the roads throughout the city of Paterson to determine which roads should be done in a priority, the one that are more egregious than others. But secondly, we also need to have project management oversight. If you go and look at the roads that are being repaved and the work that they're doing, it is less than par. We need to go out and check those roads that were repaved on Madison, East 18, from Market Street, Park Ave. Some of those roads that they're repaving, they are not doing, they're not doing a good job. So we have to make sure we do some oversight, go back, take pictures, and send a bill to Public Service to have them come back and do it right. We deserve the best in Paterson, and we can't just let them come and do a half job and think it's okay, because Paterson, we pay a lot of taxes here, and we don't pay for people's tire axles that get broken when they're going through these roads. So I'm going to put it back on the record that we need to do an assessment, especially the roads that were done since last week. I guess people have seen now that they were not done. They got done, but they're not done right. So we need to make sure we go and take a look at that. With that being stated, for these 3 roads that's been waiting for a long time, my vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilman Velez.
Madam BA, you listen to Councilwoman Mims, have Fred speak to the county engineering, because you know that's the roads mainly county and Market Street, to make sure that they put the right measurement of alpha in the road. I noticed that when you jump from Madison to Market, and the part that was paved is like ½ inch higher than the other one, so I want to make sure it's level. Don't cause some problems down the road unless they haven't finished it. So my vote is yes on this.
Councilman Rivera, we are voting on item number 14 for the 2023 resurfacing of roads. Number 14.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. President,
Yes.
the vote is 6 in favor, 3 absent. Item number 14 is hereby adopted.
We'll open up the public portion now, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. At this time, the public portion is open, and we have 12 speakers, Mr. President, and the first speaker is Ms. Amador. Please state your name and address for the record, and thank you.
Turn the microphone.
I need people to stop attacking me on Facebook, telling me that I'm always in City Hall and not doing enough for the De Jesus family. I worked out of state last week. They didn't ask me. They don't know me from a hole in the wall. They don't know what I did at 3 o'clock in the morning. But at 3 o'clock in the morning, I decided to print colored flyers, at least 200 of them. Own personal printer, own money, own ink. They didn't ask me, they don't know me. Stop attacking me on Facebook. Every family deserves justice. I'm not in the position to answer questions on this family's case. Promises are comforts to a fool, so please stop promising stuff, just get it done. Thank you for addressing the construction taking place before 9 a.m. I've been doing that for about 2 years from when the pandemic started. It's gonna get worse in the summertime. Parking. Can Patterson make paint parking spaces? Would that be plausible here, especially in residential areas? Can we look into that? Because I'm tired of fighting for parking and these punk-ass Honda Civics taking up 3 parking spaces for absolutely no reason. Downtown, instead of street meter parking, can we work with the parking garages already there? Find a decent parking price, add shuttle services. Maybe that could help with the congestion. I don't know, think about it. PSC&G, do they have a grid or not that tells them which lights are out as far as the street lights go? I'm tired of calling you, I'm tired of calling Cotton, I'm tired of calling the Villa, and all of you about the street lights. Can the public get their street working schedule so we can plan on leaving our homes accordingly? And no, those cones with the dates aren't enough because most times they don't even have the date and the time placed. Hincliffe Traffic and Jobs. Do we know what company will be in charge of concessions? When's the hiring fair for that? The traffic lights around the stadium, can they go on a 5+ second all-way red light system? Where I mean, instead of it turning red, it automatically turns green. Can the whole entire intersection be red for at least 5 seconds so that we can clear the intersection, maybe paint the boxes? To make money, you gotta spend money. Can we get a red light intersection blocking camera there? So if you're in the intersection and it's a red light, we could take a picture of your plate and get some money. Think about that. Go ride around. Can you guys all take a field trip to Harrison? There's a game this Saturday. It's gonna be a really, really big game. You guys should go with the traffic engineer so you can see how they set up their games and their lights on game day. Hinchcliffe Stadium is coming. Y'all need to start doing something about it now, before it opens. Get on that. Oh, DPW, he left. But can DPW do like a Facebook page, or can they have like their little own press conferences where they're going live and showing us what they're doing? Because a lot of us talk a lot of poop about them. I know I'm one of them. I want to see what they're doing. Can we look into that? Maybe do some press conferences, see what they're doing, if they're actually working, getting it done. How's it getting done? Now, follow me. This next train of thought, it's really random and somewhat all over the place. DPW, Florio, whatever developer, Hinchcliffe. What do you guys think about buying a building and turning it into, like a military bunk or one of those Asian sleeping showering quarters, like have 50 to 75 unit beds? Now this is just for the harder to help homeless population, but now for them to stay there, they have to work, cleaning the streets, like walking behind the street cleaner with a leaf snowblower, really picking up the debris, have them maintaining the parks, painting and city resurfacing projects, cleaning around Hinchcliffe, directing traffic. They'd have an address, help to get benefits. They'd have to pay like $200 monthly, maybe get a drill sergeant to like work it, have them cleaning inside where they sleep, making sure they're getting up and going to work, do something like that, have your team look into it. But please stop attacking me in regards of the De Jesus family, because I did my part. You don't need to know what I am doing because I am not an elected official. I am not part of the family. But I did my help. Every family deserves justice. Sergeant Gilmore, thank you for your service and allowing me to be a big polarizing butthole and the freedom to speak freely. Thank you for my extra time. I gotta go find parking. Be safe.
Thank you. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Next speaker is Mr. Teague.
Corey Teague, 65 Prince Street. This is a common thing. She disappears. But let me just tell y'all this. We were out there today by the river, and they did their search as they usually do. But I think what a lot of people fail to understand, every one of us at one point in time in our life are going to be faced with the reality of our mortality. One day we will have to stand before someone who's greater than us and give an account for what we did on this earth. Now, I'm nobody to pass judgment, and I'm not going to, but I will say this. The officers who know what they did to Felix and have decided just to keep quiet, and the higher-ups who are hell-bent on keeping everything silent, let's say you never get anything down here. One day you will have to stand before somebody that's greater than you and give an account. And whatever you don't have to pay for when you're here, the way it works, it trickles down to your children and your grandchildren. That's the way it works, down to the 7th generation. So I want to make sure people understand who they're dealing with. When you bother someone who's innocent and they're just walking, minding their business, you do something to them and they disappear, and we're not supposed to think anything foul happened, especially due to the fact that we still haven't found them. And we're out there, and we've been doing this over 3 months now. So, I mean, at this point, I myself personally, I'm just trying to uphold the family, because despite the enormous amount of pain that they're going through, they still seem to find resilience, strength, courage, determination. They get right back up each and every day, and they get back to it. And just the courage of them having to come out to these meetings every Tuesday night, especially when you don't even think you're going to get an answer. But they continue to come out here because they're consistent in pushing for what's right. The minute that we start thinking that the oppressed don't matter, that's when we become an oppressor, whether we want to accept it or not. Oppressors do not care about what the oppressed go through. So even if you don't say you're an oppressor, if you're not going to care about what the oppressor going through, you are now an oppressor. So I hope these people understand. I wanted the president to hear me tonight. She skips out every time. But I know how to get my message to her as well. That's not going to be difficult. But I'm here with the family. They're also going to speak tonight, and you're going to hear from them about how they feel about this situation. That's why I'm so glad that they come to the mic as well and speak. So nobody can say, oh, he putting words in their mouth or any of that. They're going to come to the mic and tell you the way they feel. And please give them that respect. Listen, even if they may yell or talk loud, hey, listen, you cannot tell a grieving family how to grieve. The kind of pain that they're going through right now, I couldn't even put it into words, because I couldn't even imagine where I'd be if my daughter or my son was missing. So I can't even say that I feel what they're going through, because I could never imagine that kind of pain. And I pray that I never have to do that. But while I'm here, I'm going to stand with this family until they get the answers that they deserve, and justice for Felix.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Next speaker, Mr. Giovanni de Jesus.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
Here
evening.
once again. Today, I just want to say thank you to the Health and PD, the scuba team, the sheriff department. Actually, 2 police officers, or well, not officer, detective. I think Jerry Special and another lady got there. Director and deputy got there a couple of minutes after. They was there in the search. They didn't find my brother in that water. My brother's not in the water. Please, community, somebody out there, if they know something, anything, please speak up. These 2 officers, the same way you guys had the authorities to pick up my brother and drop him off, have the authorities to come and sit down in one of these chairs and tell us what really happened that night, since we can't get the footage from the prosecutors or nothing. Y'all hiding something. Now, another thing is, I would like for you guys to get together and maybe have the mayor sit down here. I have a couple of questions for him. I cannot ask y'all any more questions than I asked y'all, and y'all cannot give me any answers. Even though me seeing it live, publicly, gathering, campaigning, and stuff with this mayor and everybody together, enjoying themselves, and my family suffering here. I would like this mayor to come sit down in one of these chairs, like I could ask him all the questions that I have for him. Not for me, but for my brother, my mother, my 2 nieces and nephew, my older brother, my family, the community. We want answers. We want justice for my brother. There was foul play, and the only one that knows that was foul play is these 2 officers. So please be man enough, since y'all was man enough to put handcuffs and not obey the laws that you guys have. Be man enough to come to one of these chairs with your mayor or your deputy chief and speak to my family. Speak to us. What happened that night? We can't get the videos. I want the videos to put them up there, like that the community could know what happened that night. I seen 4 minutes. And 4 minutes of my brother asking them for help. And they did an awesome job, because my brother disappeared from a park in the 2nd Ward behind Kennedy, a school, unsafe park. And that's not right. You guys should look into that park at nighttime when y'all leave out of here. Drive by. Mr. Khalid, your ward. I'm sorry, I'm telling you, but drive by. Take a look at that park. You know, that park is not safe. My brother got dropped off like around 9 o'clock at night, they said. He disappeared on a cold blue weather. How? Where? from nowhere. Cold blue weather, 2 officers, well trained. I think they was, but unfortunately they wasn't. They picked up my brother, put handcuffs, forced him into the vehicle, and by his own behalf dropped him off. Take a look at that. And it's a shame because the mayor today was giving awards out and he was on the phone. And I sit here and some of you guys, I'm speaking and y'all be on the phone. That's all I have to say. Give respect. Come on, man. I just want my brother back, please. And I want to speak to the mayor in here. Y'all could get that happen.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Next speaker is Ms. Crystal Garcia.
Good evening, all in attendance. 112 days and counting. Today we come before you to inform you that Felix de Jesus is still missing. A missing person story is gaining traction on social media, but most importantly, in news media. With each week that goes by, more and more news outlets are picking up Felix's story. It's just a matter of time before it goes nationwide. We are going to bring the spotlight down on Paterson, New Jersey. We are going to shed the light on the police brutality this city has faced for the past decade, and it won't be pretty. It's no secret because all cases are documented in the United States Department of Justice website for all to research. The recent federal trial that started last Wednesday of Sergeant Chef comes to mind as an example of the hideous crimes committed by him and the 5 patrolmen that worked under him. I won't name them, but you know what? I actually want to name them. I want the city to know. Matthew Torres, Jonathan Bustios, Daniel Pent, Frank Toledo, and Uri Ramos. I mean, it's all public information, just everyone doesn't look it up. They have all been convicted and awaiting sentencing, but first they are cooperating with the feds to testify against Sergeant Chef. They have called him the ringleader of this group of corrupt cops who stole money from the residents across the city over multiple years, 2016 to 2018. Sergeant Chef is currently suspended from the department. In her own opening statement Wednesday, Assistant U.S. Attorney G. Sue, if I say the names wrong, I'm sorry, said Chef had an arrangement with the officers in which he approved reports, helped them log evidence to make it seem like they were doing legit police work, and ensured complaints against the officers went nowhere. They needed the defendant Sue told the jury he was the key that made it possible to rob and steal from people. But Sue said Chef got his hands dirty too. She said there was a chef tax in which the officers were allegedly supposed to kick back stolen money to their sergeant. This is a perfect example of the culture that was cultivated in the department. This is why the night that Felix was taken into custody and thrown into a patrol car and dumped at the Westside Park was wrong policing. There were no charges filed against Felix, no reports filed by these officers of Felix ever being in their custody. These officers' actions are a prime example of police negligence and poor decision-making that led Mr. De Jesus missing, still 112 days later. Status and a missing person status and possible demise. These officers took an oath to protect and serve, and the only thing they protected and served was themselves to waive a crime against the citizens of this city. In closing, I'll leave you with a quote from the HBO show, We Own the City, based on a true story about the Baltimore Police Department. At the end of the 4th episode, the gun task is conducting a so-called team building event, if I may. Wrapping up, event while drinking beers at the bar. Bad cop Sergeant Wayne Jenkins states, and I quote, "The boss thinks that Wayne Jenkins is the golden boy. We are getting guns off the streets, and when we come into work, we come correct, we come proactive. As a mother effer, we come to effing hunt. We go get those guns, because as long as we do that, as long as we are producing, as long as we're putting those numbers up, they don't give a shit about what we do. We literally can do whatever the F we want, because you understand that we own this city. We own it," unquote. Watching this part of the episode will make the hair stand up on the back of your neck. This scenario mentality resonates with what we have witnessed in the past decade here in the city of Paterson. This family is going to continue to spread their negligence that this officers did because it goes from the higher above, and obviously they're not caring, and they're doing what others from higher above are doing, which is why we have the FBI in Paterson now.
Thank you. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Next speaker, Val Freeman.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
I came here tonight to say a couple of things, but I'm gonna retract a few of them.
One second, please. We don't have Mr. Velez. We don't have.
I know he's lying.
We don't have 5. We don't have a.
All right, well, somebody better get out here because I'm gonna make some crazy noise because they better get out here. Somebody better get them. Somebody better get them. Because that's one thing I don't play disrespect. I respect everybody, and I will be respected. If you don't want the job, get out of it. I don't know why they disrespected me either, because they know few can short. Few can short. They got the right one. And this is what we voted for. This is what we voted for. Sir, because I sure didn't vote for him. Absolutely not.
Go ahead, madam. We got 5. You could start from. Can you?
No, you can start from the beginning.
I had stopped the clock. I didn't.
Thank you.
And I started. Yeah, I didn't. Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Valerie Freeman.
Thank you.
I guess I need to go back to my original because the display tonight from Council President, disgusting. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And if she doesn't understand that, and I wish she was sitting there, but what I say at this mic, I can say dead in her face. I'm disgusted by her. I'm disgusted. The things that I watched and the things that she said when she won the election, or did she steal the election? So you want to talk about stealing an election? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about who your campaign manager is. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how many years and years and years we know what he do. I know what he do. I sat at the table with y'all. Don't forget. The disrespect that she displays, stating that she need people with like minds like hers. What are you insinuating, Maritza? That the rest of your peers are not as smart as you and the 2 people that you played on your ticket? Because you played them. You played them. You so chummy with the mayor all of a sudden. If we do not open our eyes to see what is happening in this city, there needs to be a federal, the feds need to be in here, and they need to be in here ASAP, because what's going on is disgusting. What he did, I'm going to say Andre, what he did to, what he's trying to do to Mendez and Jackson is disgusting. And those of you who back it are more disgusting. And just know, your time is going to come. When you do wrong by people, and when you treat people wrong, it comes back to you. And it's called karma. And I love her because she always show up. Always. We talk about how great this city is and how well of a job this mayor is doing. I don't know what y'all see. I don't know what you see. I don't even know if you live in this town. It's disgusting. The garbage coming here. The garbage on the street coming here. Down the street from City Hall, it looks like about 1,000 cardboard boxes. They're not broken down and tied up like they tell me I have to do mine in front of my house. They just thrown about a few blocks away. But that's okay. They pick and choose who they want to ticket. They pick and choose who they want to play with. Selective, exactly. But my message is very clear to this mayor and to the council. And I'm not going to disrespect these four right here who sat and listened. But I'm going to say this. If I got to come here every Tuesday and say what I need to say, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. We're worried about the wrong things in this town. And if you guys don't get a grip on it, this town is going to burn down. The summer is coming. How many shootings have we had? The weather's getting hot. What's going on? I don't see him doing no press conferences about that, but he wants to have the cheerleaders. Yes, I'm going to bring that up. And whoever doesn't like it, that's just too bad. You want to have, not a press conference, or whatever, a live to congratulate them, which they deserve, but they had school at 11 o'clock in the morning. That's okay? That's not okay with me. But it was okay for some. Keep letting them play you. Keep letting them put the battery in your back. You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. And when you treat children as pawns, it's gonna come back to you. Now, I'll be back again. But when I come back again, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna take some heat for it, but I can take the heat. Pay attention to what your police officers are doing when they are on the job. Make sure they're in the city of Paterson when they're on the job. Make sure they're not stealing taxpayers' money when they're on the job, being somewhere that they don't have no business being when they're on work time.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna end there. Thank you so much, Maritza. I'm gonna see you.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Next speaker is Mr. Itel. Michael Itel. His name is here.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Michael Ital. I live at 463 Preakness Ave. And anybody, I'm sure, I heard that some people came to make sure if I really lived there. And yes, I do. It's apartment 6B. You can ring the doorbell. I'm not scared. But what I see here going on in the city is, yes, I was one of those Andre supporters in the beginning. And I'm not picking on him. This is not personal. This is about business. If you drive around the city of Paterson, and I really don't know how he comes to City Hall, but if you drive up Broadway, I absolutely cannot imagine anybody saying that Broadway looks nice, because Broadway looks horrible. And then we have construction going on the streets. Like I concur with Mike Jackson. You know, you really don't know where you're coming. You drop off the side of a road, and then you go back to the next bump, and on the other side of that bump is the sign says bump. And then when they do the streets, the side that was dug up and repaved is worse than the original side. Every single street, now Councilwoman Mims says we need an assessment. We need people to drive around like they used to do in the old days. Yes, I moved back here, but I was born and raised here in Paterson. I remember how it was. You had, and this is not picking on city inspectors, you had city inspectors driving along with the street sweeper back in the day. And if they noticed a problem, they would mark it down, and they would go back around and take care of that problem. We have cell phones, we have all the technology, and absolutely nothing gets done. I post on Facebook that people that cut the lawns. Where's the enforcement here? When I lived in Paterson, when I lived on 126 Knickerbocker Ave, and then when I lived on Mary Street, 44 Mary Street, I used to get tickets for not cutting my lawn. How come the people don't get tickets anymore? You drive down Union Avenue, there's grass this high. But that I understand is because if we, as a city, can't take care of our parks. Buckley Park for months upon months. We spent all that money in the field. There are no flags. This is absolutely shameful that the flags are ripped and it's ruins. This is for months. And I don't know whose idea is and how the road resurfacing list goes, but the city should be sued because Chamberlain Ave should be #1 on that list. Absolutely #1 on that list, because you're doing all the side streets, but Chamberlain Ave, you still got a Dodge going around. And this is all the way from the cemetery all the way over. The whole street needs to be changed. It needs to be redone. Then on the other side of the coin is that we have to look at what's really going on here in the city of Paterson. I catch Roselli trucks all the time taking illegal garbage out of the back of people's houses. That's absolutely shameful. That's stealing from the taxpayers. I don't have a problem in taking a picture of this, and I post it on Facebook. This is actually stealing from the taxpayers. Shame on them. We need to really get rid of that garbage company. But then you got to look at the other side of the coin is, why do we have them here? For corruption. Think about it. Gator Garbage will pick up your garbage. They'll charge you more, but your streets won't look the way it is. Everything will be picked up. I'm not saying all the employees for Roselli are bad. A lot of them are good. The ones by my house are not so bad. We have to absolutely drive around. I want the administration to get in a bus and drive around the city of Paterson with their families that don't live in Paterson and see how it goes here. The drive around Paterson is absolutely a mess. I absolutely cannot believe how people could say that things are going good.
Thank you. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Mr. Aramis Acevedo. Aramis Acevedo.
Good night.
Good evening.
Yeah. I'm coming from the taxi company.
Oh, turn that microphone. It's on. Oh, yeah. Acércate más al micrófono.
Speak to the microphone,
I'm
please.
coming from the taxi company associated. I represent about 2 companies. Yeah, I'm coming over here only for we need approval. We can keep working the car number, the car from the year 2012. We need the resolution is we can use the car for 10 years. Maybe we need 6 more months or 7 months more for the finish the 10 years. If we can use we can use the car for now. I don't know if we can use the car for 7 months more. If we can complete to use the car for buy the new car. I don't know if you can give you a break for use the car for complete the 10 years. We know we can use only the car for 10 years.
Do you understand what he's saying? You want me to say?
He spoke English. We understand.
Mr. President, if I may, I can, because I handle the taxi companies. So I'm not speaking for him. What he's speaking on behalf of all the taxi companies, and what he's trying to ask the council to amend or do a resolution to allow them to use the year cars 2012 until the end of this year. That's what he's asking the council. If they would extend. Yes.
Last time he was here, we explained to them to contact the clerk office so we could, our corporation council could draft the resolution. Then he will come in front of us. There is nothing we can do right now unless the resolution comes in front of the council. There is a process, so you have to follow the process, sir. The same thing that we explained it to you last time you were here. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President.
Mr. Aramis, Mr. President, just a question to Mr. Aramis. ¿Usted hizo la carta y se la mandó a ellos?
Ellos hay una carta que hizo el señor aquí, que estamos firmados por toda la compañía, y
especificando
que queríamos que nos dieran.
So, Council President, they drafted a letter, they submitted it to Madam Clerk. They just probably had to wait until Corporate Council draft the resolution and bring it to us, and then we take action.
Thank you. Next speaker, Madam Clerk. Are you finished, sir? Yeah? Are you finished?
Yeah, that's all I come over here for. That's all.
Okay.
I need to use the car because I have 7 cars, 2012. Yeah, I gotta stop the car for use.
Thank you.
Next speaker?
Next speaker, yes.
Yes, Mr. President. Next speaker, is it like Cinda Pitts? I'm not sure the first name. Pitts, P-I-T-T-S. Is there a Cinda?
So as we continue to spread the word, Patterson Police Department failed Felix on February 2nd. Felix has been missing since February 2nd. Whether it was that 5 people saw him in this park or it wasn't that 5 people saw him in this park, at the end of the day, we still don't know the police officer that went back into that park. But we do have it on camera that the police officer went back into that park after dropping him off at the top of the hill. Now, it's a conflict of interest with this case even being trying to be resolved in this county, because there's many elected officials of family members of the officers that are working this case behind doors. We are very aware of the many family members that are working this case. As we said, this family member has a retired judge in Paterson. We also have many family members that are sitting next to you that you do not know that are related to this family working the case as well. So we get a lot of information. Remember, the streets talk, right? This is how we figured out that the officers that were on duty that night was the officers. And then the body cam confirmed that it was Unit 111, right? Okay. But we said this before the body cams confirmed this because we knew this, okay? We also knew that the Lieutenant Delgado that was here the first night, and then we spoke to an elected official, and they said, we spoke to 2 elected officials, but we know which specifically was the one that sent Delgado here that night. Thank you. We wanted that message to get across. Thank you. We did our job. Hey, y'all thought y'all got us. We got you. Okay. Now, politics. Let's go to politics, right? Many people thought that they used this family for politics. We used you. Okay? This is not a political situation. This is a horrible situation that the city of Paterson and the authorities as a whole should be disgraceful of themselves to see that there's a family continuing to come to this mic week after week, suffering and crying, a family that has to reach out, the scuba team, thank you to everybody that supported and everything, but this family had to make sure and call the sheriff and go in person to overturn protocol, right? Now, over the past couple weeks that we've been here, there have been unfortunately, various of bodies, various of people that has lost their lives, and unfortunate families that have been suffering. You know, we are not the only family in the city of Paterson that is suffering. It's a shame, everything that's going on in these streets. It's a shame that we continue to put the ones in chairs that have not done anything over the past 4 years in chairs. Us, Paterson, need to wake up and get these damn people out. If they're not here for us, they're never gonna complete these broken promises that they have had for the past decades. It's only going to get worse. I'm wrapping up. this family is going to continue to spread the negligence of these officers. We're going to push for this case to get out of the county of Passaic County. We are going to push to make sure that everyone that has anything to do with this case is held accountable from the top to the bottom. We are going to continue to spread and work on our end to get the FBI involved in this case, because it's a damn shame that we have these elected officials still in chairs. These officers are still working. The lieutenant is still working. Thank God that we're getting a new chief. We need to start with new leadership, Patterson. Let's continue to spread the word. And remember, community, this all, I have to put it on the record, for the officers that work for the Patterson Police Department, the mayor, and everyone else, don't call this family personally, okay? I don't care who's your cousin, who's your mother, who's your brother. Don't tell us how to grieve, okay? We're gonna come here and talk and say however we feel, whenever we feel, and if whoever doesn't like it, we don't come here to be liked. We come here to be heard, okay? And we're gonna continue to spread the damn word. The city of Patterson needs help. We're drowning, like the other lady said. It's gonna set on fire soon, damn it, because it's only gonna get worse. This is what they're doing to us.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Next speaker, Mr. Gilmore. Gilmore.
Ain't no shame in my game. I support the family. I really didn't come to speak tonight, but I was incensed when I got here because nothing against Tony Venturi. He's a great guy. I love what he does. He represents the veterans well. I, too, am a veteran. Vietnam-era vet. 1975, I joined the U.S. Army. Promoted to sergeant, decorated, NCO Academy instructor, okay? 2 years reserves as well. And when I was denied my right to speak at this podium, as a citizen, never mind being denied as the director of the division, denied my First and 14th Amendment rights to speak on the status of the tickets abated for the art factory that were then given an entertainment license, but not meeting the requirements of the abatement of which I was asked to speak on, denied the right to speak. Not one person, veteran or not, to this day, has come back and said and spoke for me as a veteran. But everybody salutes the flag and this and that, whatever. I put my life on the line for this country and for the rights for every one of you, as a U.S. Army sergeant, Vietnam-era vet. But I don't come here for that. I don't come here for accolades. I have a lot of accomplishments, lots, plenty, more credentialed than the normal person working in these offices and doing the work without credentials because they know somebody. I worked for mine. I am credentialed. You understand? So this is what I come to say. And I'm bringing these cases forward, and I'm looking for justice. I'm looking for justice. I don't have to be reinstated, but you're going to pay me at the end of the day. You know, 3 times my case was denied or information was not supplied for the interrogatories and discovery for the federal hearing tomorrow. Disciplinary hearing last week. Egregious violations on that as well. But we're going to have a status conference tomorrow. And you know what? I'll be glad when it's over. But it should not have taken this long. I haven't had a paycheck since December 16th. Suspended without pay. And fired April 21st. For some egregious bullshit. You know? So here again. Then denied or attempted to be denied to be at the Masonic parking lot when this family came to peacefully protest. told we couldn't sit in the parking lot. I was in my car a couple hours before the event started. I was told to leave. Really? Really? I've been a member of the Masonics for 30 years, more. You can't tell me to leave. So anyway, back to the issue at hand. The federal status conference is tomorrow. I'm looking forward to resolving this thing. The other case is going to go to trial July 14th. And it just needs to stop. Stop violating people's rights. Give people what they deserve, a fair treatment. That's all it is. Sergeant David Gilmore. That's the rank I attained. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Next speaker, I'm not sure if it's Roberta, but the last name is Rivera. Is there Roberta Rivera or Robert Rivera? They left? Okay, thank you. Next speaker, Mr. President, is Ms. Camille Black. Ms. Black.
So, continuing to go back to the officers that reached out to family that works for the city of Paterson and called this family to tell us to stop and not to sit here and point fingers or anything like that. We're not scared of you. We want you to try us. We want it, trust me. You will get the energy you're looking for. Now, that also, to put on the record, all our phone calls are monitored, recorded, voice, and everything. Just to have it on record so no one says we never told them, right? Another thing, for this family to be getting texts that we're getting harassed, I mean, a whole person that does not know this family just came up here, and we want to put it on record. If anything happens to Giovanni, or Eric de Jesus, Paterson Police Department should be held accountable because we have enough information, messages and all, to sit here and stand behind this, okay? Don't sit here and try to threaten this family, intimidate this family in any way. We are going to continue to spread the negligence of Paterson Police Department. It's a shame that we have an enforcement in this city that we do. We need better enforcement. We need better leadership, okay? Another thing I have to get back to. So, right? The city of Paterson is screaming. Before elections May 10th, they try to rip up as many streets as possible. These streets are still not paved. Today, actually, being in the park, right? We had to do some landscape work because the city of Paterson didn't do it. But that's our tax-paying dollars they're paying for, but I don't know where they was at that time. But they pulled up after, as soon as Mr. T pulled it up. But we don't mind. We did that because our loved one is missing, right? Kennedy lets their children come to the field with no administration. There's a whole brick of cement that these children are jumping over. There's high infested drug area. A person, a human, 41 years old, a grown-ass man just went missing in this park. And yeah, y'all did a good job by putting the lights on for all day, all night and everything. But we still need a gate there to cover that river because any kid can throw themselves there. There's a lot of mental issues going on. Some kids, the school is their safe heaven, okay? So we have to make sure that our children are safe. This isn't the issue because there's many issues around there, especially if that's their gym, that field, it should really looked into. There should even be an officer there if they know that there's so many drugs being transported in this park. Now, people don't go missing, okay? Whether it was that Paterson Police Department did leave him at the top of the hill, they still failed him because he needed medical attention, and they didn't give him that. They confused him for being a homeless. So this is what they're continuing to do to our homeless. Instead of more recreationals getting us in programs, trying to help them, okay? Again, this family needs help from the community. We're offering $10,000 for anybody that can help us locate Felix de Jesus. At this point, we know where the community have, the enforcement, the administration had went wrong. We already know this. But the main key is to find Felix. We have to find him. We need some type of closure. Okay? Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you, thank you. Next speaker?
Yes, Mr. President. Next speaker, Mr. Sebastian Mejia. Sebastian.
Good evening, Council. Good evening, everyone at home. I met Felix de Jesus one time in my life. One time. I did not know him personally. It was actually our prom night. I remember. We were all there in the van. I do know that he was a son, he was a father, he was an uncle, he was loved by his family. That may not mean anything to any of us, but he was our neighbor. Just because you didn't live next to him doesn't mean he's not your neighbor. If you live, work, or serve in this city in any capacity, he was your neighbor. We're called to love our neighbors as ourselves. That's a commandment. He was not shown love by the officers that picked him up that evening. He was not treated neighborly by them. He's not being treated neighborly by this administration. It saddens me to say it, but it's the absolute truth. I also say this. Everything that's done in the dark will come to the light. Everything. There's one that sees all things that go on in this world. And that done in the dark will get exposed. And that is why I truly believe that the body cam footage is not being released. Because it would expose that darkness that went on. Tell me I'm lying. 1 + 1 = 2 every single day of the week. And don't let any oath, any allegiance, any brotherhood or fraternal order stop you from doing the right thing in this situation. Tell me I'm lying. Because we all will face judgment at some point, in this life or the next. What will it take for some accountability? What would it take for some empathy? For some words from the administration? Giovanni, I think I know what it's gonna take. It's gonna take, how many people voted? Let's say 13,000, 15,000 Pattersonians exercising their First Amendment right in front of City Hall to get the mayor's attention. Maybe then a press conference will get called. Maybe then. We will have to do that. If that's what it takes, I'm with it. It's okay. It's our constitutional right. We will flood all downtown real quick for some justice. We've done it before for other families as a community, and we will do it again, and we will continue doing so. It's unfortunate that it takes things to get to this extreme, and this amount of pressure needs to be put on for the right thing to be done. Thank you.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Mr. President, there are no more speakers on the public portion, so may I have a motion?
Move to close.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call to close the public portion.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call to close the public portion of the regular meeting of May 24, 2022. Councilman Jackson?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So I'm going to address a few of the items before I have a moment to address the family. First, I'd like to point out, Council President, that the BA, this has been a common practice this council has not had a level of accountability at all. All questions that come to be asked never get answered. So I asked the question earlier with regard to why was the recreational services halted or suspended or not allowed on Saturday, and we did not get an answer, just for a point of clarity on that. And I also want to point out to the community that, you know, reference to something that the young lady talked about with the ongoing case of the sergeant that's being looked at by the officers that answer to him. Well, that was spotlighted, and it was discovered under the former chief, which this mayor made a huge effort to get rid of. I was the only one who asked that we take a stance against that because I saw it coming. And this current chief has done absolutely nothing with addressing those concerns. And trust and believe that that wasn't the only, it didn't stop at a sergeant level. The corruption and all the things that took place definitely went up higher. And you're right, it is a culture. It is a culture. But one thing that I want to be sure of, and I'm not afraid, just as any of you are not afraid to talk about anything on public record. I don't know. I mean, there was a couple of, statements that were made with regard to the past, this past election cycle. I do know that I've made many attempts to talk with the family, help out the family as much as I possibly could. Families did support my me at various times. So I hope that I wasn't one of those people that you feel was running a political sham on your situation. I hope I'm not. If I was, then I'm sure that's something that we could talk about. But that was not my intent. But needless to say, I'm disappointed at where we are now, either way. But the community deserves better. Our community definitely deserves better, and I'm hoping that we'll see that soon. But anyway, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before my vote, I love what I hear about from the last speaker, when he said that everything that is done in the dark will come to the light, and it will, I'm praying to see that the prosecutor's office are finishing with this investigation, because let me tell you, God is watching what happened in the city of Patterson, and I'm praying to see, this young man getting back with his family, but at the same time, don't stop fighting. Just keep fighting. You got the community behind you, and we're behind you. From this governing body perspective, at the last meeting, was my recommendation, another recommendation for all the council colleagues, to Corporation Council to send a letter to the prosecutor's office. We send the letter. The letter came back with the answer. You already know. But my advice to you is don't stop fighting, because that investigation is gonna come to the light. It's gonna come to the light, and whoever did something wrong, they're gonna have to pay for. Just don't stop fighting, because the community is behind you. More and more people are getting involved in this at all the level, because we want to see the family, we want to see justice, and we want to see Felicia de Jesus back home. With that being said, Madam Clerk, I think it's important for us to set up a different method. I see a lot of speakers that come in front of the podium, but I think that we have to start, I know we're taking note of the meeting, for the administration to follow up on every item from the public portion and give us a report during the week about the comment that has been made on public portion and how the administration is addressing those comments. It's extremely important, because we see people that they're getting in front of the podium over and over every week, but we want to see what the administration is doing in terms to fix that and to correct the problem. So if we could get a report as a council, especially, I would like to see that, because for me, it's important that if somebody coming in front of the podium and to address the administration, that the administration take action and get back to that person. That have to change, and that have to be done. And to the person that came for the taxi company, I spoke with Corporation Council to bring that legislation back into this governing body, to change, to eliminate the year, to take the year out. Why? And I know you know that I was the owner of one of the largest transportation company in Hudson County, and we're serving corporate and all the different entities in Hudson County. And the way they conduct the inspection of the car, they don't pay attention about the year. They pay attention about the condition of the car, the safety. Everything have to be in place in the car, seatbelt, everything. That's the way they conduct the inspection there. I think that we should have an investigation, because we need to have a discussion about the year. I think that we're wasting time on the year, and we're not paying attention in terms of the inspection about what needs to be done and the safety of the taxi, to make sure that our residents are safe when they're using one of those cars. So with the year, the competition will take you out of business if you're using old cars. So it's in the best interest for any company to upgrade their fleet, but it's the city's responsibility to make sure that the cars are in a good condition, not thinking about if it's 2020 or 2012 or 2011. So we're gonna have that discussion at the next workshop. We're waiting for Corporation Council, and you should be here to add your part on that. With that being said, my vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mims?
So, desperate times call for desperate measures. And I'm just gonna do this because I've been led to do it. I'm gonna ask the family members, could you just please stand in the audience? Just stand. And Patterson, I want you to join in with me in this prayer. I remember when Shania Coley was missing, and God led me to go to the spot where the incident happened and to pray 3 words for her return. And those words were: reveal what has happened and what went wrong, expose what has been covered, and to return the loved one home. And so we're gonna come together and we're gonna pray right now, every head bowed, every eye closed. God our Father, we thank you because this is the day that you have made, and so we rejoice in it. God, this family has been coming week after week to this council meeting, asking for answers, demanding justice for the safe return of Felix de Jesus. They have searched the waters. They have handed out flyers, they have knocked on doors, they've talked to stores. I mean, they've made phone calls, and they're even offering a $10,000 reward. So God, I'm praying by the power that is within me that we command things that are not as though they were. That you will reveal those things that are hidden, you will expose those things that have been covered, and that you will return Felix de Jesus to his family. It's been too many days, too many hours, too many minutes, and too many seconds of no answers. Too many weeks, too many months of no response. So we pray in this perspective: reveal, expose, and return within a matter of a few days. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Amen. And it is so. And it is so. And it is so. That should be the posture. When we don't know what to say and what response to give, it's not about politics, it's not about pontification, it's not about our personal gain or agendas. There is a family that is hurting. There's a mother who needs her son. There are brothers, there are children, and so many people that are missing their loved one. Every time I see the video, I watched it today, I'm in tears. I'm a mom and a grandmother. I am in tears watching, first of all, Giovanni, you had the landscape to even get through the area. With your own stuff, you had the landscape to get through to the area. To go in the water in your own boat and scatter. This is what, the second or third time that I've seen you do it, and drag the water looking for your loved one. It is 100+ days too long. It is unacceptable. It is unacceptable, and something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. I thank your brother Jorge. I thank him for calling me when it first happened to pray. I didn't call and ask for votes. I didn't do any of that stuff. So that's why I don't have to worry if that comment was for me, because I never asked for any votes. It was all about praying and standing in a place to make sure that you get justice and your loved one comes home. I've been praying privately, but tonight I just feel led that if I pray openly, that someone across the airwaves, someone will touch and agree that we'll come on one accord to make sure your loved one comes home. From wherever he is, in the four corners of this earth, that he will be returned home, and we pray he's returned home safely. So Paterson, these people that are calling and harassing and telling you what not to do, stop it. Pray for this family. Stand in agreement with them. And if you don't know what to say, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, because this is a process. There's no answers. But someone has answers, and it will be revealed, it will be exposed, and he will be returned. And this shall happen, because I declare and decree it. So it shall be, and so it is. Remember that. It's going to happen. Madam Clerk, with that said, I'm standing in solidarity with this family. If by the following next weeks, if there's no return, I will move from this place and I will stand on that side, because we have to stand in solidarity with the family whose loved one is missing for too long. It's unacceptable. I am not on this side and you're on that side. If one of us hurt, we all hurt. It was perfectly said by Sebastian. We are our brother and sister keepers. We should feel the hurt and the pain that you're feeling. Even though we may not even know him personally, it doesn't matter. When one of us hurt, we all hurt. And I am praying for you, and reveal, expose, and return. That is the prayer. In Jesus' name. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Amen to that, Madam Councilman, woman at large, Liz Simmons. I want to address a couple of things before I address this issue again. To Mr. Amador, we probably cannot paint all the street around and mark spaces, but as we speak, there's an ordinance in place, drafted, to address the parking in the city of Paterson, requested by the Committee of Public Works to establish a citywide parking permit that will alleviate the parking situation in our city. So that means whoever lives in Paterson needs to register their vehicle in Paterson. Second, if anybody, and this is for everyone out there that are in social media, is some form of faction, you feel harassed by social media, somebody's attacking you, whatever. There's a section 2C-33-4, column 1, crime of cyber harassment. If you feel that anybody is harassing you on social media for anything that you are doing good, and they come after you, harassing you, consult that New Jersey code or criminal code of the state of New Jersey. Some people like to write things on social media and et cetera, accuse you, whatever. There's a cyber harassment code out there that you could apply if you feel that way. You know, one thing I could agree with Valerie Freeman is that the people had one opportunity in 4 years, is to let the voice heard. 84,391 registered voters in the city of Paterson. Only 16,205 individuals came out to vote. That means 68,186 did not care of what's going on in Paterson because they didn't went out and vote. I was saying when I was running for mayor that if you was happy with the crime and the way the city looks and the unfair treatment, the only way to do that and change that is coming out to vote. So 16,205 individuals came out to vote. That will tell me that probably they didn't care about the crime, they didn't care about the dirty of the street, they didn't care about what the situation is, and they elected the same person. That's what this election did. Moving forward, the family of the Jesus have not given up. They've been here since day one. They have not stopped fighting. What is they demand is that the prosecutor, the internal affairs, the mayor, and all the above come and step also and fight with them, making sure that they bring the Jesus back. That's why they asking. That's why they asking. And they, every Tuesday we hear, we listen to them. I will not put a caution to the Public Portion Act, because that's your rights to come there. It's us to listen and deliver. In this case, the elected officials in this side are lawmakers, and that side is the administration, and that side the judiciary system. They the one that have to step up and bring conclusion to whatever you guys are going through. And it's hard. And we all know it's hard. Councilwoman Mintz knows I was there with her in the prayers. We went and put on big morale. And, well, matter of fact, where Kevin passed away too. And we did what we had to do. The result was negative, but at least we was together to get some answers. Madam BA, I know you be probably taking notes. I know the mayor probably is watching this meeting. But I'm missing one part here. There's two sides of investigation here. And probably we cannot talk about it because you saw the letter that the prosecutor's office sent us. But I would like to see if Heldon comes down and speak to the family in front of us. That's why, let's listen to me. I say two parts of the investigations. I spoke, excuse me, let me finish so I can explain you. There's two situations here, two investigations in one scenario, one victim. The Heldon police is in charge of the missing person part. And whatever happened with him in custody of Paterson Police is a different investigation. It's total different investigation. So once again, you probably will not like what I said, because that's all right. You take it the way you want to take it, Jesus.
Councilman
All right?
Velez, we closing the public portion. Please. Councilman Velez, we're closing the public.
I will wrap up.
Please.
My friend, we prayed the same way you praying, okay? So, Madam BA, please try to get this in conclusion. If it's with Paterson, or if it's Heldon, or if it's Paterson, or it's Heldon, please bring it to conclusion. We need to do something as soon as possible before this gets out of hand. Saying that, have a good night. My vote is yes.
Councilman. Mr. President?
Madam Clerk, do we have any item on the agenda?
No, we finished the agenda.
Okay.
This is
My
the last.
vote is yes to close the public portion.
Thank you, Mr. President. The
Move to
vote is
close.
five in,
Move to close.
Sorry.
Councilman.
Let her,
1 second,
let her
Councilman.
announce the votes, please.
Yes, the vote is 5 in favor, 4 absent. The public portion is now closed for the regular meeting of May 24, 2022. May I have a motion to close the regular meeting?
Move to close.
Move to close by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Jackson. Roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call to close the regular meeting of May 24, 2022. Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Sure, thank you, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk, just before my closing, Madam BA, let me just, I have a conversation with Richard Mara about this property. The property is located on East 23rd, 98 East 23rd. This property, this person bought this property in 2019. The taxes were $11,600, and the taxes went up to $16,626. I have a couple of examples, and I sit down with Mr. Mara to see why. So the company that we used to have doing the assessment, we don't have that company anymore, correct? But there have to be an evaluation, and I will bring some of the example because I took this example about this property, and it's shocking that the tax in 2019 was $11,600, and it went, and now are $16,626. There was no upgrade on the property. So I will give you 3 other examples that I have of people that bought those property, and because of they bought the property, the taxes went up astronomical. And I have a couple of examples of that, but I will definitely I'll leave it at that. I will pass it to you, and after the conversation with Mr. Mara, to see if we could take those 3 examples and try to identify some Paterson residents that are going through the same situation. Mr. Mara explained to me, listen, if there's no upgrade on the property, there's no reason why taxes should go up from $11,600 to $16,000. They have to be an upgrade on the property. There have to be a reason why, and there was no reason why. And I have 2 other examples, so I'll pass it to you, and I'll make this comment because if any Paterson resident, if any homeowner is going through the same situation, I would like to know, because I'm putting together multiple examples about people that purchase property, and right after they purchase the property, tax went up astronomical without doing any improvement on the property or anything else. So I would like to know those information. So with that being said, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes. Good night, Patterson. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mims?
So Patterson, please keep in prayer so many families. Family of the 15-year-old Monique, who was killed by senseless violence. Pray for the Randolph family and the passing of Nazir, and all of the shootings that are going on. There's so many people, there's so many names to call that it's endless. You don't even know you want to. So we just need prayer. Patterson needs prayer. I said it a couple weeks ago. We need healing. We need a cleansing. There is really some stuff that's going on, and I believe what's happening is that before the total resurgence of healing happens, that there has to be a level of exposure. So things that have been hidden under the surface and that have not been talked about, there is going to be exposed. It's happening, but my concern is for our youth for the summer. The summer is coming, and I'm gonna ask Madam B.A. It's sad. Madam B, I'm gonna put this on the record. The fountains in the parks, I was told they don't really put them on until July 1st, but I'm asking if we can look into getting them on earlier, because we had some hot days and all the fountains are not on in the park. So I just want to put it on the record that we put water on in the park for our youth so that they're not at the fire hydrants and running in the streets to get hit by cars. So can we make sure that those that were not working are working, if they need parts, whatever they need, that we get the fountains on. I also want to put it on record. I have some video. I'll send it to you, Madam BA, of New Roberto Clemente Park that was sent to me today. There are boxes that are there that were not picked up. There's broken bottles, Corona bottles, needles. Someone sent it to me tonight as we were in the meeting. So I have about 10 videos of that park, but just do an assessment of all the parks as we prepare for the summer. The Vera Ames Community Park, we made that mention cameo last year, so I know we voted on some of those items tonight, but there's some stuff that we just need to go in and make sure that, especially the rocks that are falling on the side and the area that's in the middle, that we can take care of some of that stuff. So, yes, that's the one in the middle with the tape that's gone. And so Patterson, I'll say it again, thank you so much for us sounding the alarm very loud and clear, even when they tried to take me out this seat. Because I'm finding that people that really fight for the community, like myself who's born and raised here, they don't want people like us. They don't want people like us. But let me tell you something, Patterson. You spoke loud and clear, and I was the highest vote getter. No matter how low the voter turnout was, people that went to the polls, they voted for MEMS because they know MEMS is the real deal, that MEMS is not in it for any, it's not for money. I don't need the money. It's not about the money for me. It's about helping the city. When I was sitting on the sideline, like many other people were, I knew that we can do things in a better way. I knew we could get stuff done. And guess what? I proved it. I volunteered first, adopted schools in 2008, was working in the school district, ran for school board 1, then came to the council in 2018, and then got reelected by a resounding number of residents in the city. You know why? Because they know when they call MEMS, MEMS is coming. They know if they need me, I'm coming. It's not gonna be on social media. You're not gonna know MEMS showed up and all that. I don't need people to say MEMS came to my house and took care of, so I don't need them because they know. They know what's gonna happen. So to those that tried to take me out, thank you. For those that spoke negatively about me in this community, thank you too. For every lie that was told, thank you. Because you made my name greater. It is because of you I was the highest vote getter. And I want to say thank you. It is one of the greatest gifts that I can give back to every person that did not believe I should be here. But God in his infinite wisdom knew that MEMS needed to be in this seat, and he made sure I returned. So Patterson, let's keep building this great city that I love so much, I've been born and raised in. Let's keep moving this city forward, less battling, and let's make sure we put the residents and the city of Patterson first. You've been on the back burner for too long. It's time to move this city forward. Madam Clerk, thank you for all you do.
You're welcome.
Deputy Clerk, if you're watching, to all our secretaries, Sophia, very diligently always calling to make sure we're coming to the meetings. Thank you. And our secretaries, to our Corporation Counsel, our BA, our CFO, and to our officers. We never really thank the officers, my neighbor.
True.
Our officers who come. We have officers that come in, to our wonderful Ermelinda, and to our camera crew that comes and they sit here every week, and to the residents that come and sit in the audience and come and voice their opinions. I want to say thank you to all of you too. It's a new day in Patterson, and Patterson is about to move to a place called better. We've been bitter too long, we've been disappointed, and we've been in a place where people have thought we did not matter. But I am telling you that better is right in front of us. Congratulations for Reed Uden, our new councilman-elect. Congratulations to him and to all the others that ran. Casey Melvin, my good friend, and Juan Santiago, Sonia DeLees, all of my good friends that ran the race. Thank you for all you do. And I know one thing about all of them, Jason, all of you, you're not gonna stop serving. That's the blessing about everybody that ran. You're gonna keep serving, and you know why? I am the councilwoman at large, and I'm gonna make sure I reach out to every person that ran. I'm gonna give them something to do, because that's how we get it done in the city of Patterson. Patterson, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'm sorry my voice is a little bit scratchy. First of all, I want to thank Council President Marisa Davila for taking care and watching over my ward. I had to leave Wednesday to take care of emergency call in Puerto Rico, so I returned back yesterday. No, I don't have COVID. But my voice got a little bit scratchy with the motion that I went through. Prayer is good, but they have to come with action. Prayer without faith is dead. So we need to make two things, prayer and action, and ask those that need to put the action together to come forward to do what they have to do. And I say it the way that I say it. Some people will like it, some people no. But I like to be balanced in everything. Roberto Clemente Park, Madam PA, is a park that the bottles of Coronas and Heineken don't fall from heaven or from the sky. They go there because the residents goes and drink in the park. DPW cleans the park in the morning, and they have to go in the afternoon before they leave the shift. The only thing we need there is enforcement. If we have police presence and going around and deterring people that are drinking in the park, from far away, if I see it, they could see it also. So there's an ordinance established in the entrance of the park on no smoking, no drinking, et cetera, et cetera. So I know that our officers, the caste system is tied up so much, but if they have that as an extra tension, I believe they could go in there at the park in the chair, at least make some presence that they go to hide and come back and drink it again. But, Madam Mims, we need to educate our community too, to read those ordinances and try to follow through them. Everybody knows how I care about that park. So she spoke about the fence in front of the park that is falling. That's been there that's about 3 years ago. And I've been lobbying to put a new fence. Thank you for approving today money for, and I mention it because part of the fence is going to be put up, a new fence, and it's going to be fence and lock the park when the sunset comes down. So get ready. If they're in front of your house, call the cops and move them because the park is going to be restricted after the sunset comes down. I had one great thing in mind always, to carry the two bags, one to take and one to receive, and not receive. This pack selection, the people spoken, if it was a low turnout, I didn't agree with the numbers, but I gotta sit back from that point up to 4 more years, fight? No. If I had to put the ideas that I have for public safety, to clean the city, to bring public safety to our community, to do a lot of stuff that I was saying that when the debate I was saying that I was gonna do, I had to sit back and say, hold on, the mayor is the mayor. Let me put those ideas that I had forward in his desk and put it to work in our city. That's what a good politician will do if they lose an election. Because still we're sitting here. We need to legislate. We need to do orders, ordinance and resolutions. We need to speak about the issue of the community. How are we going to do it? Fighting? Going back and forth? No, we do it as the right way, making people accountable the right way, and making sure that the service are delivered whoever sit there. In this instance, if Councilman Jackson will be the mayor and I lose, I have to work with Councilman Jackson. If Mendez wins, if I lose, I have to work with Councilman Mendez. See, the ego had to stop at one point. What message we have sending our citizens in the city of Patterson about how we should conduct the city when we finish an election, we still fighting. Let's rest, sit back, and making sure that whatever decision we make here is not for ourselves, it's for the city. Unfortunately, the mayor is going to be there 4 years unless he break the law and get locked up. Let's be honest. But meanwhile that don't happen, I need to make sure that he listens my concern. I had to make sure that he followed with my vision and making sure that he put the resource of the administration as a legislator to my ward, to the 6th ward, to the 1st ward, to every ward.
It's an open mic. It's an open mic tonight. Keep going, Councilman Velez.
Thank you. You know, people deserve respect at all level. And let me be honest. What the people out there see and act and conduct themselves probably come from this side. You never know. Or that side, or this side. But people are watching and they're seeing what's going on. Right now, we pray for everyone in our city. But at one point or the other, we need to come together. I want to listen to the message on 1st of July. When 1st of July comes in, I want to hear all the message, and I want to record it. That will be the testament of 4 years moving forward. And I will keep everyone in that word on July 1st. Because as you know, sister, every July 1st, there's a message. But then, come July 2nd, July 3rd, July 4th, it's gone like a fireworks. It pops up and disappears. So I try to do my best. One thing I gotta say, if the Lord calls me for any chance, for any reason, at least I could sit back and say, I did it well. God bless you, Patterson. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, my colleagues. My vote is yes. Good night.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before I vote and close the meeting, Councilman Jackson, Councilman Mendez, you guys thought we had 2 minutes of closing remarks. If you guys like to speak again, it's an open mic tonight, open session. You know, you are more than welcome to speak. I mean, you spoke long enough.
Since I'm the only lady left, then maybe
Right.
I should have another opportunity.
Right. I see Councilman-elect Fariduddin is here. Congratulations. Welcome. We are as a council body, we are looking forward to working with you from July 1st and moving the city forward. Correct? And good night, Patterson. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Council President. The vote is 5 in favor, 4 absent. The regular meeting of May 24, 2022 is hereby closed. Good night, everyone, and thank you.